say I
Hello everybody and welcome. We are back here for the Formula Racing League Taco Tuesday Championship. We are here at season 16 and it's round 4 and it's Watkins Glen. This is a track which is not for the... Well, it's not very forgiving, is it? With the barriers all around the track, there's very little runoffs. There's high speed areas all around the track, which means that when people do crash, it is pretty epic. And I think we're going to be tuning in now for a bit of a roller coaster of a ride. It is also the second of the 2 special event races, which means we're not here for the 60-minute race. We are here for the 100-minute race, 2 pit stop challenge as well. So that means it's going to be a lot of strategies, a lot of different sort of thought processes going into this race. Some people are running long, some people are doing sort of short stints at the start. So we should see, a lot of different things happening, and we'll see who can end up at the end of the race out in front. I think it was Aresh last time round that sort of won the race by about 45 seconds, I believe. So we'll see if someone can challenge Aresh this time round. But as I mentioned, this is round 4 of 6 this season. We've already been to Misano for the first 100-minute special event race. That was in round 1, and then we headed over to Paul Ricard for our first sort of standard 60-minute race. Then it was Red Bull Ring last week, and now we're here at Watkins Glen this week before we head over to the Nürburgring and then obviously Nordschleife the following week. So there's only 3 rounds left. We're over the halfway point. I'm really looking forward to experiencing the second 100-minute race. Like I said, it is a dual pit stop race, which means each driver has to do 2 mandatory pit stops. I believe, there is no rule, sorry. So yeah, you don't have to fuel, you don't have to which I think would tell you have to fuel, but I think it's like 1 litre each time, which is what you probably do anyway. And I think there is no mandatory tyre stop, so obviously there will be some strategies out there. Like I said, some people will just try and run for as long as possible, because obviously every time you pit for tyres, that's a 30-second stop. Some people will be trying to, obviously I imagine most people will just do 1 tyre change over a 100-minute race, but you never know, there might be a couple of people doing 2, which means they'll have really fast stints, but obviously it just means they'll be stopping longer in the box. So yeah, we'll have some interesting strategies, like I said, so we'll just have to sort of see how that pans out. Obviously, if you are on the watching on YouTube as well, obviously feel free to hop in and you have a chat throughout the race. Going into the standings then, after 3 rounds, it is Aresh that is in the lead currently with 81 points. Obviously, there is a drop round in effect as well, so the points you see are the correct points, obviously, for the 2 races that people have raced, plus the 1 drop round. We did miss Vandenham and Lodder or V-Spec last week. They're both, executed their drop rounds, but they are still in the top 10 here. So, like I say, it is Aresh that leads the way. Vandenham is in second, 4 points behind. Hooper, who won last week at the Red Bull Ring, is currently in third, although I do think he is now withdrawn from the season. So, he's come in, won a race, left. So we'll see. You never know, he might come back. But for now, so that means the third place in the championship is up for grabs this week. Radic had a good race last time out. He finds himself in 5th in the championship with Roberts in 6th. I don't think Roberts is racing today. Grace is in today. So we have Grace and Palmer. So Grace is 7th with Kaspari 8th, Rogers 9th, and Zampolini 10th. So I think actually of the top 10, there's 8 drivers racing this week, so that should be good. And it means that we should have a lot of competition in those top spaces. Looking forward to seeing if someone can challenge Aresh for that top spot. We do know that Vandenham, for instance, does have that speed, and so does V-Spec. And we missed them both last week, so I expect to see in qualifying, especially Aresh, Vandenham, V-Spec, and Zampolini, who is now back up in the top 10 of the championship in 10th place. Expect them to be battling out at the front, but don't rule out drivers like Radic, for instance, as well, because we do know he has got some speed. And then I'm just going to get rid of those ones. So then we go into the track guide as well. So the fastest lap record for, obviously, with FRL was held by Grace with the 1:44.120, but that was actually beaten on Sunday in the Sunday Sprint Series. I was given the time. I don't have it to hand now, but I think it was beaten by about 0.2 of a second. I'm just going to see if I can find it for you. I think it was... I think it was about 0.2 of a second it was beaten by, and I think it was beaten by... I'm going to try and get you the time. I have to apologise. I can't grab it straight away. No, I haven't got it just yet. I will try and get that for you. But it was... So Grace, although he does have the track record on this track map right now, it has been beaten. I think he was beaten on Sunday. I don't actually have those details to hand. Apologies. I should have had that. I was told to give him a shout out, but actually I have it now. Sorry, I've just found it. I was stalling there, but so it was beaten by Jared Vermeulen in the Ferrari 296 on Sunday. So he is beaten it by 0.2 of a second. I say he's now a 1:43.902. So that is a time to look out for in the fastest laps. That is race times, not qualifying. So if we see if we can get a 1:43.9 in the race, then obviously that will be beaten again. But it is currently owned by Vermeulen, in the Ferrari 296. I do have that I'm glad I managed to find that in the end. And then, so the estimated, so one thing we do like to look at is the pit stop time. So obviously this is counting if you're changing tyres. The pit stop time is about a 1:19.5, so say 1 minute 20 seconds. So at least we'll know then, like if you're within 1 minute 20 of the leader and they have to pit, you should then get out in front of them based off of that information. And then obviously with the track guide here, it's a fast flowing sector 1 as we go. So see if sharp first right hander, and then obviously it just opens up into turns 2, 3, and 4 up into the bus stop. I presume it's got like an official name, but I'm just going to call it the bus stop today. And then obviously the second and third sectors are quite long, sweeping technical sections. So there is still a lot of speed to be carried in these corners, but obviously a lot of, sort of pinpoint braking and obviously, hitting the apexes and driving out the corners as best as possible. So it's going to be about well, again, it's one of those tracks where you don't want to scrub too much speed, but also it's going to, the main sort of, I say, success to this track is trying to get out of the apexes, get on the throttle as early as possible, and yeah, try and get the drive out the corner. So traction is vitally important in Watkins Glen, I would say. You'll see some drivers, doing well in the first sector because of the top speed, and then obviously it'll be about, maximising that traction and keeping the car on the track in the final sectors as well. I think practice is just finishing up, and then we will head over to qualifying. Now, in the 100-minute race, qualifying is shortened to 15 minutes. So we do have in the field today 33 drivers. So that's 33 drivers that do have to all find space out on the track in that short 15-minute qualifying. So expect a lot of chaotic, people scrambling around for times. Expect a few people to be out of position. I think last week, actually, we found, I think Zampolini might have had a qualifying ban. I think someone said, but he started from the back of the grid and ended up finishing 4th at Red Bull Ring. So if you are a fast driver and you're out of position, you do have time, especially in a 100-minute race, to catch back up and move your way through the order. But like I said, we are just waiting for the final little stints of qualifying to finish, and then we will head practice to finish, and then we'll head over to qualifying. Interestingly, out on track at the minute in practice, this must be striking a bit of fear into some people's eyes, but it is currently raining out on track. And actually, we've just switched to qualifying, and the big news out there at the minute, and I don't know if we were expecting this, I don't think it was in the weather reports, but actually it is currently raining in qualifying. So that is big news. So I'm just going to find who's coming out of the track first, and then I will get you out with a driver. I think it was Apprentice coming out there. Yeah, early doors. Okay, here we go. So we're going to head over to the broadcast now. So as you can see, guys, it is currently raining out on track. We have, it looks like rain for the full 15 minutes of qualifying. Actually, the rain is increasing in intensity in 10 minutes time. So that means probably most of the qualifying times will be set early doors here. So it's all about, do you know when we normally say go out on track and set a banker lap? That is going to be even more so important at the minute, because the track's going to get, it's greasy at the minute. It's going to get more wet as the as qualifying goes on. So we actually are riding here with Jack Prentice, one of our profile drivers from last week. As you can see him sliding out there at the minute, but he may well end up having one of the better lap times of the day, because obviously, as the more, well, there's still some drivers sat in the pit lane. So what I mean is, though, obviously, the more the track gets wet, the slower those times are going to become. So this is going to be really I don't think we were expecting this. This is going to be a bit of a mix-up. I'm just going to see what it's saying on the social chat. Okay, so I think they were just pipping the... I didn't know if there was anything mentioned about the weather here, but I don't think we were expecting this, guys, if I'm honest. So this should provide a bit of spice to the occasion. Like I said, it is the 100-minute special event race, but we're only 15 minutes in qualifying. Rain intensity in 10 minutes. Track currently greasy, will go damp shortly. We still have some drivers in the pit lane, some drivers only just leaving the pit lane, and Jack Prentice here in the 678 Aston Martin is about to come around and set his, about to start his first flying lap, and he may well get a really serious advantage here, because he is going to be able to set the time on the track before it starts to get a bit wet. But like I said, normally I'd say go around nice and slow on a dry circuit with 20 minutes, set a couple of banker laps in, and then you can start to push yourself, start to be a bit more aggressive and try and obviously just try and sort of maximize your lap time. But with the rain increasing in 10 minutes and the track obviously getting wetter every second you're out there, it is more vital than ever that you have to get that banker lap in. But that banker lap will have to sort of risk versus reward, so it has to be a quick one as well, because you're going to potentially find yourself in a bit of trouble when it comes to the track getting a bit wetter. But as normal, we'll ride with Prentice for the first of the full lap. Let's see what he's looking like inside the car here. As you can see, it's only a bit of light rain at the minute, but obviously that that is still going to be affect the grip levels of the car. You want to up the traction control probably a little bit. Basically you want to try not to slide that car as much as possible. It looks like Zampolini again is still in the pit lane, so I don't know if he's got again another qualifying ban. I don't know if anyone in the YouTube, if anyone's watching YouTube, they can confirm that. But yeah, we'll just ride with Prentice now as he comes up the hill into the last sector here. Only a few more corners to go, and he'll be setting the benchmark time. Like I said, the track is still greasy. It's only a bit of light drizzle at the minute, a bit of light rain, but obviously it looks like the intensity is going to be increasing in within the next 10 minutes. So we'll just ride with Prentice, like I said, for the first lap, and then we'll see what what everyone else is doing out there. Everyone is out on track minus a few cars here, so that there's, like I said, it is a short qualifying session as well, so only 15 minutes, and we've already lost 3.5 of those minutes already. So as Prentice comes across the line, he'll be setting the first benchmark time, and that is going to be a 1:50 flat, and I think it is Wazza coming across the line next, and as he crosses the line, he sets a time 0.3 of a second slower. So already Prentice has got himself ahead of two drivers, with Duran also slipping in behind that time, and Grace as well. So at the minute, yeah, look, no one else is setting a time fast as Prentice. I'm sure that will get beaten in a second, but that's 4 drivers all finished, or 5 drivers now. Look at this, and 6. I can keep counting, guys. So every single one of these drivers that are coming across the line now, every single one of them is finishing behind that time. So this is asking the question, is the track getting slower? But it is Luke Prentice, I believe, or it might be Lee Prentice, but we'll just, I don't know if they're brothers either. Someone can confirm that in the chat, that'd be great. We have Prentice here setting a time, and then obviously that has been walloped by Aresh here, 1:47.6. So for a moment, just for a little moment, Jack was looking pretty speedy out there, but yeah, he has instantly been beaten, and Aresh now with a 1:47.6, a much faster time. Rayner popping in as well in P3, 2 seconds off the pace, and then there's Naisbit, with the McLaren. I think we're missing him last race. He's now back here, 2.2 seconds back. Kaspari has come in. He has set a time 1.9 seconds back. So that is an amazing time by Aresh there, setting a 1:47.6. And I wonder if anyone's even going to get near that. Some other times coming in as well. Tulloch is currently in 11th, 2.5 seconds back. Actually, he's got identical times to Serpentine here. Serpentine set, a time which is 2.593 seconds behind, so those both are on the same kind of pace at the minute. At the back though, it is Paulson with the slowest time so far, struggling in these wet conditions, and they said it is Gedman in the Porsche alongside Duran, and then one of our current top 10 is in the championship, currently sat in P19, 4 seconds back. There's still over 10 cars yet to qualify, so I'm sure they'll all be coming out soon. Simon, who is back today, he is popped up. Actually, I think he was racing last race, but he might have been someone in the back. But Simon has shown his speed here. He's only 0.7 of a second off of Aresh's time. I say only 0.7. That is a big gap, and with only one driver currently within a second. If you think about normally, we have normally about 15 to 20 drivers all within a second of the leader, and in this race so far there's only one driver near that time. I imagine these times will be improved, but with the track getting wetter as we obviously as we speak, it will will be affecting those times, no, for sure. Sharp out there a minute, hasn't set a time. He's nowhere near. I think he's got a couple of sectors to go. Vandenham also and V-Spec haven't set a time yet either. V-Spec out there on a fly in the last sector. We'll just ride with him for a second as well. And yeah, Vandenham behind. So let's have a look. So these are, well, to be fair, where's Radic in this order as well? I think Radic has just set a time. So let's just check on his lap time. I went instantly towards the front, but actually Radic, who's currently 5th in the championship, finds himself down in P22, 3.3 seconds back. But let's just keep an eye on V-Spec, because we do know V-Spec and Vandenham are 2 of the fast drivers currently in the championship. And I'll just ride with V-Spec now as he comes around the last couple of corners. He has an Audi behind him there. I don't know if that is that Pospisil in that Audi behind, but it looks like at the minute V-Spec struggling with pace here. A couple of corners to go, we'll see what he can set, and then I think it's Vandenham a couple of cars behind. There is still, 5 drivers left to set a time with 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go. And as V-Spec crosses the line, he sets a time, only puts him 24th, 3.3 seconds back. And then Vandenham, as he crosses the line, he goes, actually he might set a bit more fast. I mean, he goes up to P5, only 1.4 seconds back. Zampolini has now come out and set a time 1.1 seconds off the back of Aresh. Aresh has shown some ridiculous speed out there in the rain, and with no one can get anywhere near him. Like I said, Simon's still 0.7 of a second back, but everyone else is within a second or more behind. Only 13 drivers within 2 seconds of him. Caruana currently here. He is now 15th, 2.1 seconds back. Prentice, who was at one point, obviously with the first 6 or so cars that came past, was in the pole position hot seat, but he is now down in 16th, 2.2 seconds back. So we'll see if he can keep himself in the top 20, but maybe get up into the top 15. Anyone else at the back here currently? Yes, I think it is V-Spec that's going to have to try and find some more speed at the minute. Grace out there 4 seconds back. He's going to have to find some space as well. Sharp was looking pretty racy last week, but he hasn't set a time yet. And again, that's another lap he's done. Another time hasn't been set, so he probably just needs to get at least a banker lap in. He is king with the slowest lap time of the drivers out there that have set a time, 5.8 seconds back. So I'm sure he'll find some more speed soon. Gedman here, currently 3.7 seconds back. He has the Duran ahead of him, and obviously Simon and Radic, the other Porsche drivers. Rogers, who's currently in the top 10 as well, he is just come out of the pit lane to maybe set another time. He is got 6 minutes to go. Is that Porsche in the background has a bit of a wobble? I presume he wasn't expecting those cars to come out there. Was that Duran? No, who was that? Was that Gedman? I don't know if Gedman was I don't know if he just lost control there, but Nelson, who was showing a bit of speed, did he get top 10 in the first race? Or was it second race at Paul Ricard? And since then he's sort of been missing a little bit. Brown has always been in and around the top sort of 15 to top 10. He is currently P21 in qualifying, 2.9 seconds back. But fully expect him to, he always has good race pace so far this season. Palmer, who got on the podium last week, currently in P18 here, 2.4 seconds back. But I think he was, I think he had 2 DNFs in Massano and Paul Ricard, and then I think he got on 3rd place on the podium on race 3. So let's see what he can do this time round. I think the rain is maybe starting to get a little bit heavier. And then who else do we have here? So Naisbit now actually has found a bit of time. He's up into P10. And Serpentine actually looking a bit more racier out here today. Serpentine currently in P9, 1.8 seconds back. He normally finds himself slightly down the order, so he'll be buzzing with the fact that he is now in the top 10. And I think maybe Prentice is coming in here as he goes for a nice little slide there. He's trying to control that car. I don't know if he's just trying to show off a little bit there, but that Lamborghini, the 43, is currently P7, 1.6 seconds back. Prentice was one of the faster drivers in last season's race, but this might be his first race this season because I haven't seen him out there yet, so maybe he's taken one of the reserve spots. Fetzer currently as well in P6, 1.6 seconds back. He'll be happy with that. Another big name out there actually that's usually not near the front is Kopsch. Kopsch is currently P4 in that Mustang, showing that he has got a bit of speed out there today. So he is up there, 1.3 seconds back, only half a second off of a podium spot. We still have 4 minutes to go. So there is still a lot of time and opportunities to get out there and set some times. We have Luke Richings, it's Luke Prentice, and they're brothers. Okay, so Luke Richings in the chat, thank you very much. So we do know there is the Prentice brothers, and it is Luke. So it is Luke Prentice, like I said, I think last season, looking at his results, he was... he was the faster of the 2 brothers. Jack currently sat in 17th in the Aston Martin, and Luke currently in P7 in that Lamborghini. So he's got a bit of rust to dust off. Obviously, Jack has raced in all 3 races, and this will be the 4th race here now. And Luke, this is his first race of the season. So let's see how he handles the race pace out there. Hyman's currently in P13. He is 1.9 seconds back. He has actually a driver 2,000ths of a second ahead of him and a driver 3,000ths of a second behind him. So Kaspari, Hymans and Tulloch, all they have to do is find a fraction of a second and they will get themselves up a couple of positions. As Hyman's now trying to sort of improve. To be fair, even Rogers is only 200ths of a second or 300ths of a second ahead. So there is a chance for these drivers to potentially get themselves into the top 10. Can Serpentine, again, like we're saying, having a better qualifying session there, can he hold out and stay into the top 10? We still have 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go, and with a lap being 1 minute 47 seconds, that would probably mean as long as you get out with 2 minutes to go, or maybe just maybe even 1 minute 55, if you flat out go for it, you might be able to set a time. But if you're not leaving the pit soon, you are going to run out of time to qualify. There is only one driver that hasn't set a time, and it is Sharp. So Sharp looks like here in the Honda, he is going to be potentially starting from the back row of the grid. Van der Waal here, he's 4.4 seconds back. Paulson here 3.7 seconds back, and Gedman is only 0.03 of a second ahead as well. So there's a lot of close times out there, even at the back of the field. It was King that was the slowest of the drivers out there for a while, but he has now bumped himself up into P23, 2.7 seconds back. King, who looked really, really racy in race 1, has sort of failed to find that pace since that first race of the season, but we'll see if he can maybe improve those fortunes today as well. Cobb, who obviously is fast at times, finds himself currently in P22, chasing down Wazza, who we thought at one point was going to be in the top 10. This championship is just struggling to sort of keep that, get that Bentley somewhere near the front. And V-Spec here as well, not having a great qualifying session so far. He is currently in P20, 2.6 seconds back. I don't know, maybe if he's just not suited to this track, but normally he is right up there at the front, challenging the leaders. But at the minute he is currently sat in P20, so he is still going to get another chance. As we've always said before, if you do cross the line with 1 second to go, you are able to continue on and complete that last lap before qualifying ends. So we still have 1 minute. So all the drivers coming around now will still get this. This will be their last final lap, as they cross the line. So that is the who is that? I'm trying to find out. Is that the 717 car? No, it's the. He was out there. So Radic is just crossing the line now. So this will be Radic's last flying lap with 40 seconds to go. The 65 car coming around now as well. That is who is the 65 car? That is Tulloch. Tulloch as well is now on his last flying lap. We also have the number 3 car of Vandenham. Vandenham now coming around to set his last flying lap if he's got the fuel for it. And then so just keep an eye on these drivers now, because these are now, if they make a mistake now, their qualifying session is over. We have the 63 car as well of Cobb. Cobb coming around to set his last flying lap. The 713 car, who is that? Trying to find these drivers fast enough. Is it 713? I can't see that time out there. Oh, there it is. Sorry, it's Caruana. So Caruana was, I believe, the last driver across the line. So there's drivers coming up now. Number 4, this is Aresh. This will be Aresh's last chance to set a time. I think he has Kopsch, or no, maybe it's Fetzer behind him as well. So this is Aresh's last opportunity, and he goes in the pits and he follows in with Fetzer. So both those drivers aren't going to be able to set another time. We have the 134 Honda of Brown. Can Brown get himself up into the top 15, maybe even to the top 10 with his last flying lap? As he comes around the last corner, he puts everything into it and he goes flying into the pit lane, man. So he's not going to improve a time. He put on a little show for us at the end there. We have the 34 car next. I'm just trying to find these drivers fast enough. I apologise. Sometimes I can't see these numbers quick enough. I'm trying to see who that might be. I'm sure we'll see it when it crosses the line, but no, he's going in the pits as well. We have the 98 car of Raditz. Let's see if Raditz is going to set a last qualifying lap. I presume because of the rain, everyone's bailing out. So I think the rain's probably just picked up a bit. The track is damp now. I don't think anyone's really setting any times now, so this may well be that qualifying is over. I think Cobb is still out there potentially setting a lap, or is he slowed down as well? Yeah, it looks like, I don't know if he is actually on a flyer because he looks pretty slow out there, but Cobb coming around the last couple of corners, but I think it is Aresh that is going to get pole, with Simon in second. That fast starting Porsche might find himself in first coming into the first corner. Zampolini and Kopsch are in third and fourth, so Kopsch flying himself. There's another little wobble there, so that's what Brown got caught out by as he came across the line. But as Cobb crosses, he doesn't improve. I doubt the 713 car of Caruana is going to improve as well. I think the track has got wet, as everyone bails out. So it is Aresh that does get pole position here. Simon in second, Zampolini third, Kopsch in fourth, Vandenham fifth, Fetzer sixth, Prentice is in seventh, that's Luke Prentice, Radic eighth, Gaspari ninth, and Serpentine up into 10th place. I think he's going to be buzzing with that qualifying session. Normally he finds himself, like I said, down in maybe in the 20s, so to be up in the top 10, I think he'd be really, really happy with that one. This is turning into a bit of an epic qualifying session. Some of the big names within the championship as well are down the order slightly as well. So that was a epic qualifying session. It is Aresh again that is out in the front, and then it's Simon in second. But that Porsche always starts fast. So I do expect maybe Simon, if he gets the good start off there alongside Aresh, he might find himself, leading the race come lap, at the end of lap one. Zampolini as well. There's no love lost between Arash and Zampolini. Zampolini, who started from the back of the grid last week, finished in P4. And he now finds himself in third place. But yeah, the big names at the minute there: Kopsch in fourth, Fetzer in sixth. I don't think we've seen either of those drivers anywhere near the top 10 in any of the races this season so far. So to have them both up there in the top 6, that's pretty pretty epic racing there. And we have someone in the chat saying, or NMF Sim saying Schwitzer. Is that is that your team? Is it Switcher? So I guess, is that all the Fords? Who's in the Schwitzer team? Can you let me know, Sim? And then we'll shout them out. But it's a obviously Prentice was his first race of the season as well. That's going to be a interesting to see how he handles the kind of race pace. We do know we had the speed last time out, and then we had Serpentine. I'm looking forward to seeing what Serpentine can do. But remember, guys, this is a bit different in the sense that there is 2 pit stops, isn't there? So obviously we don't know how people are going to plan their strategies. But just go back to the booth for a second. We'll have a look at these times. So it is Arash that set the fastest second sector. Actually, Simon had the fastest third sector. And you have to go all the way down to Harry Palmer in 18th for the fastest first sector of today's race. So that just goes to show you that obviously, Arash wasn't the fastest driver all the way around the track. He just, was really dominant overall. There was quite a few drivers that had the 29s. I say quite a few. There's probably about 3 or 4 that had 29s in the first sector. So you got a lot of time there. And then, one of the only few drivers that were in the 135s in sector 2. So again, he's gaining about half a second in sector 2. That's where a lot of people are losing out by the looks of it. And then a lot of people, most people are in the 42s in sector 3. So it looks like actually, where he's gained most of his lap time is probably in sector 2. So if anyone is listening and they're trying to think out where they can find some more time, it looks like, Arash is the man on the move when it comes to that sector. About half a second faster, if not up to a second faster than most people in that middle sector. So that is worth thinking about. Like I said, so it is 1 minute till the race starts. So I will just quickly grab a drink before the race starts, and I'll be back in 1 second.
Thirty seconds. 20 seconds.
Yeah, so we have only 15 seconds to go. We are looking forward to this one. So just a reminder, guys, as it stands, Arash is the current championship leader with 81 points. Vandenham in second with 77. Hooper is in third with 76. Lodder or V-Spec in fourth with 76 as well. Radic is in fifth with 72. Roberts sixth with 72. Grace seventh with 69. Kaspari is eighth with 68. Rogers ninth with 68, and Zampolini is 10th with 68 as well. So a lot of points to be won here today. And so we're just going to ride now with the drivers as they come around and start their formation lap for this race. Any kind of so Sim in the chat saying that Swishter Motorsport, the team from Arash with Kopsch, Fetzer and Kaspari. Okay, so Kaspari, Fetzer, Kopsch and Arash, all part of Team Switzer, all in the top 10 today. So it's a good little shout out for that team there. They're doing good for their esports organisation for sure. I just need to get rid of that graphic as well, sorry, because it is I'm currently not on break, that is for sure. So, the order of today's race, we have Arash in first, Simon is in second, Zampolini in the second row alongside Kopsch, Vandenham and Fetzer are in fifth and sixth. Prentice for his first race of the season alongside Radic in seventh and eighth. We have Kaspari in ninth with Serpentine rounding out the top 10. Naisbitt is in 11th with Rogers in 12th. Hymans is 13th with Tullock in 14th. Rayner is 15th with Caruana in 16th. Brown is 17th with V-Spec in 18th here. And then we have Wazza and Cobb rounding out 19th and 20th. King is in 21st with Grace in 22nd. Pospisil is 23rd with Delhi in 24th. Mertens is in 25th with Nelson in 26th. Duran is 27th. Paulson is in 28th. Van den Wall is 29th with Sharp rounding out the back of the cars that are on the track with, in the top 30. And then it is Gedman currently in P31 starting from the pit lane. I thought we had 33 cars out there today, so I don't know if a few people have maybe quit out or there's been maybe a bit of a crash in the server, I'm not sure, but I think maybe starting from the pit lane based off of what I've heard about Sunday's race could be a wise option. But so there was a bit of a crash here apparently on Sunday, so anyone that wants to watch that back can obviously on the YouTube channel have a look and watch back the Sunday sprint. But yeah, I'm hoping we're not going to have that much chaos in this race, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. And so remember guys, there is a 10-minute pit window at the start, 10-minute pit window at the end. So of the 1 hour and 40-minute race, you can pit from 1 hour and 30 all the way down to 10 minutes to go. So there's an 80-minute window where all the drivers have to do their 2 stops. There'll be a lot of conflicting strategies out there today. I'm sure that all the top the 4 switch to cars in the top 10, they're all probably talking to each other and making plans. So we have 3 Schwichter Fords in the top 6. You can see them all there with the green and purple. So we'll see how they get on in today's race. SRC Undead saying Palmer has vanished. Is it Palmer that has, maybe he's had a bit of an issue there then. Prentice is also starting from the pit lane as well, so maybe Prentice, Palmer and Gedman all had an issue at the start. Obviously they're not going to restart the server now, I'd imagine, so that is just bad luck unfortunately for those drivers. As long as Palmer can get back in soon, he should be able to start. I don't know obviously if Prentice is going to have a bit of a issue when it comes to I don't know if you have to start straight away or whether they're going to have a bit of a time penalty. But they're coming up to the line now guys. This is the first. So the first race of the season, it's the 4th race of the season, it's the second of the, and it's green lights, go, but so it's the second of the 100-minute races. I did say the fast starting Porsche would put pressure on Aresh going into the first corner, but it looks like Aresh holding that inside line should be able to hold that one, but the Porsche does pin it around the outside. Is he going to try and run it down the inside? He does. So as I thought, the Porsche does get ahead of Aresh here. Zampolini has held 3rd place with the Ferrari of Van den Ham moving up into 4th place. We're at the front, so I'm going to rub this one for a second because this is Aresh now. Is he going to try and dive back down the inside of the Porsche, around the outside of the Porsche, sorry. It looks like he has got the straight line speed. We do know the Porsche does suffer there, but you think they are being sensible about it. Looks like they have all got through here. Simon is ahead, and Zampolini is going to try and put pressure on Aresh here as well. There's a bit of, I'm just waiting for the positions to settle. Yes, so Van den Ham here is leading the way with the rest of the drivers. Both of the Fords of Schwichter in 5th and 6th here, Kopsch and Fetzer. Prentice has managed to stay out of trouble as well with Radic now holding around the outside line. He's going to try and make a move on the Ford as well. If he can hold that line, he will get the inside line for the next corner. So that is Radic potentially making 2 places up there and moving from 8th into 6th. He dives down the inside, and that should be moved done. I think that Ford isn't going to put up too much of a fight, and Prentice is now going to try and tuck himself down the inside as well, so that's going to be 2 positions lost by the Ford Mustang as well. But up at the front is Simon still holding the line, but it looks like Aresh has dived down the inside, but Simon will have the inside line if he holds that for the next corner. They are giving each other enough room, and Zampolini is just waiting in the wings to see if those two do collide. The Porsche now holds the inside line for the next corner. That's going to allow Zampolini through as well, so now all of a sudden they have touch there. Aresh with a little bit of a slide, Zampolini tucks back in, and it is Simon that is going to get that first lap lead as predicted in that Porsche, but I think it ought to be a matter of how long here, because we do know that that Ford Mustang does have fantastic straight line speed. So it's Simon that takes the initiative on lap 1 of this 100-minute Watkins event, with Aresh in 2nd, Zampolini in 3rd, Van den Ham back, and he means business up in P4 here. Kopsch is holding off Radic. This is 4th versus 5th here. We do know Kopsch had a good qualifying time here. here, but Radic is the top 5 driver in the championship currently right now, so he will want to try and make that move and get himself up the order and up the order in the points as well. Fetzer has recovered off of the Apprentice attack and back up into P7, and it is now Kaspari, the other Schwitzer Motorsport driver, now putting the pressure on the Lamborghini. We do know they said this is Apprentice's first race of the season, and maybe he's a little bit rusty. Kaspari has always had a bit of good race pace, but he thinks better of it. Very, very smart. And somehow Serpentine, don't say it with a shocked face, but Serpentine has shown he has got some decent pace up there in P10, holding firm. He has got Stu Rogers behind him in P11 with Naisbitt in P12. And I'll just back up at the front, make sure there's nothing going on. Yeah, it looks like Simon has now lost that place, not only to Aresh, but he has now lost it to Zampolini as well. And Van den Ham, if he wants to try and maintain the gap at the front, he's going to try and get past that Porsche as quickly as possible. It was Simon that had the fast lap after that one, obviously, but Aresh now has cleared the wings and he's going to fly off on down the track to see if Zampolini can hold firm. But like I said, it is Naisbitt trying to chase Stu Rogers here for 11th and 12th. Caruana is in 13th. Hyman's in 14th with Tulloch here. Taking a look down the inside, thinks better of it, and that is going to allow V-Spec, who's moved up from 18th up to 16th, now putting pressure on Tulloch, trying to move himself up the order as well. Was in behind in that Bentley in 17th, and looks like Mertens has had a good start as well, because I think he was in the 20s, maybe 23rd, 24th, now up into P18. I was going to say I haven't seen Brown in the top 15 currently, because he is down in 20th. There's a bit of a train here behind Mertens, so Mertens, King, Brown, Grace, and then Cobb behind there, and then was it Pospisil, and then Nelson, and then Duran in the Porsche. This is a big old train of drivers here, but back up at the front it is Aresh that leads the way. He's broken the gap to Zampolini, now 1.3 seconds clear, with Simon now falling off the back as well. Simon's had a crash out there. He's got some damage, so I don't know what's happened there. He must have come maybe off that turn 1, because we do see a couple of people suffering obviously in these wet conditions. I don't think we're expecting a wet race today, but Simon has fallen down all the way down into P6. Radic is going to try and make a move on him here and see if he can get himself past as well, but you can see there's a lot of damage on that Porsche, so that is bad news for Simon. He's going to have to try and stay out with that wounded Porsche for a couple more laps, because what you don't want to be doing is pitting now, because the pit window doesn't open for another 5 minutes. So if you pit now, it doesn't count towards one of your pit stops, and he slides again. So Simon is now on the grass. He hits the barrier. Is Kaspari going to be a victim here? Yeah, Kaspari just trying to keep it on the inside, and he has been hit as well. So again, Kaspari's going to have to hold that damage for a while, and as we can see, that is that Caruana in the background. He's hit the wall. All the drivers taking avoiding action. At least he's held the brakes. It's well done here. A lot of cars flashing here. BMW's diving out the way. Is anyone going to call out? No, everyone just sees that car at the last minute. They've all avoided the trouble, but it is the Porsche of Simon that sort of started that whole collision off. Simon back in the pit lane here. So yeah, those drivers have managed to avoid trouble, but it is Kaspari that will have a bit of that front end damage. So like I said, he's going to have to stay out there for a couple of more laps, because he doesn't want to pit until there is at least 1 minute 30 on the clock, because obviously if he goes in the pits now, it doesn't count towards his pit stops. You can see the front end of the Audi is crumpled, and that is definitely going to be affecting his aerodynamics. Apprentice is going to want to try and apply that pressure as quickly as possible and get past that Audi. But back up at the front, it is still Aresh leading the way. Zampolini now 1.7 seconds back. Van den Ham's really fallen off the order, 2.5 seconds back, with Kopsch now also about 2.5 seconds back. He has his teammate Fetzer just behind him within a second. That is your kind of lead 5, trying to pull away a bit from the field. Radic, though, is now, I don't know if we'll see he's 3 seconds back currently, but he does have Kaspari behind him with that damage, so we do know that he should be able to eke out that gap slightly. But we're all right with Prentice at the minute, because Prentice is going to want to try and put some pressure. But it is Serpentine is the man that's on the looking pretty racy at the minute. He's now going to try and make a move. Yeah, again, they think better of it. That outside line on the bus stop here isn't really the move to make. But Serpentine looking really racy out there, trying to put pressure on Prentice. And we do know that wounded Audi is he's not struggling too much out there, but at the minute he's 1.9 seconds off the back of Radic. Let's see how that time sort of evolves in the next couple of sectors. I don't think we've got Palmer back in the track either, so Prentice is still in the pits here, so I don't know if he's just had a bit of an issue, but it looks like Gedman did get out early, and actually Gedman finds himself up in the P24 already, but so Gedman must have got out straight away from the pit lane, whereas Prentice, I don't know what's happened here. I think unless he's just retired from the race, because he is still in the pit lane right now. Let's have a look. So Fetzer is falling off slightly off the back of Kopsch. So we did say Kaspari was 1.9 seconds off of the back. No, there you go. So yeah, I think it is Serpentine putting pressure on Prentice at the minute, but I'm trying to see when's the next timing line. So as they come across the line at the minute, I said it was 1.9. Actually, no, it looks like he's caught up quite heavily with Radic. So Radic is struggling in these wet conditions, and it is Kaspari, even with that damage, is catching up with that Porsche. Because Radic was 3.7 seconds behind the drivers ahead. He's now 4.9. So yeah, I'd say rather than Kaspari catching up, I think it is Radic falling into the back of them. Serpentine really trying to make a move on Prentice. And I did say Prentice would be struggling potentially with race pace because it was his first race back. And you can see he's creating a bit of a train here as that's Radic now spun around. These Porsches are not... I wonder if they're maybe running a low downforce setup. But Radic now, the next victim in the Porsche, he is now falling down the order. He is right back being chased down by the 63 car. That is Cobb down in 17th. So Radic has lost a big handful of points here. This is great news for the drivers behind these here. So Serpentine now finds himself up in P8. But they are stuck behind this Prentice bottleneck in the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini is 2 seconds behind Kaspari. And yeah, you can see Kaspari now 7.4 seconds off the back of the front five. So that front five is the breakaway group at the minute. But even there, not really that... this is where the main kind of battle is starting at the minute. So Serpentine needs to kind of get his way past Prentice as soon as possible because he is clearly the driver holding everyone up. You can see there is a long train of drivers behind. So you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers. That's all. That is basically 7th place Prentice all the way down to 15th place King. That is the main battle of the minute. So King here, he's the back of the queue. He has a 3-second gap to Radic behind. And it is, Prentice now. To be fair, Prentice is doing okay to hold on with Kaspari, but we do know Kaspari is holding a bit of damage, but he is creating the current bottleneck, and these drivers are going to have to think outside the box, maybe with their strategy or something, to maybe get past this bottleneck here. Maybe an early pit stop could be a call, to potentially sort of move the way around it, but we can see again Serpentine trying his best to make a move here on that Lamborghini. This is a great show as he tries to hold the outside line. He really goes wide, and I reckon that's going to allow Stu Rogers now to dive up the inside here, so that Serpentine's gone from attack to defence, and it is the Ford Mustang of Stu Rogers that does dive on through. Now Serpentine, who for one moment looked like he was going to make a move on Prentice, broke late here, and you can see that Mustang. Is Stu Rogers going to make it? 2 overtakes in 3 corners, and he dives through on Prentice, straight through into P7. Great aggressive and opportunistic driving from Rogers. Moved from 9th to 7th, so great bit of driving. So the question is now, is it Prentice holding up the bottleneck, or is it just that is the pace of this race currently? So let's see if Stu Rogers can now break away and start applying pressure to Kaspari. Kaspari now 9 seconds off of the front 5, so that does tell me that there is potentially damage, and obviously not potentially, but it is obviously hindering him. I think that's probably not his raw pace. I think that is just literally the way this track is going. But I am thinking, I wonder if really drivers aren't going to be pitting, I suppose, for at least 10-15 minutes, because the rain is due to stop in the next half an hour. So there's no point in going in the pits now, or you go in the pits now for a fuel stop, and then change your tyres to dry tyres in half an hour, and then you just have to ride those tyres for an hour. That's probably going to be the most people's strategies today. So you probably want to try and get your fuel stop out of the way in the wet, don't you? Because I suppose then you lose less time when it comes to the dry part of the track, because obviously you're faster. I don't know if anyone else can follow those kind of strategies. But let me walk you through the order then as we've gone into the first 10 minutes of this race. The pit window is now open as well, guys, so that pit stops do count now towards your strategy. As you can see, Prentice has gone in the pit stops alongside Cobb. So it's Aresh now leading the way, fast lap of the race. Zampolini behind 2.6 seconds. Vandenham is in third, currently 5.8 seconds back, with Kopsch in fourth. He's 4.3 seconds back. He has Fetzer behind him, 1.6 seconds back. So that front 5 has broken away, but they're all broken up. Then you have to go all the way down the order. It looks like Kaspari did get himself back past Stu Rogers, but Stu Rogers... Oh, no, sorry, that is Stu Rogers making another move. Sorry, I got confused there. Sorry, that was the other driver. So Rogers has now got through on Kaspari. 11.8 seconds. That is such a cost to Stu Rogers here, obviously, and everyone else behind Kaspari. He now has to try and make a move and close his way back up, but currently holding that P6 spot. Naisbitt now is in P8 following those first few drivers diving in the pit lane, and then Tulloch is in P9 also. Hymans is in P10 with Mertens in P11. Wazza is in P12 here. And then we have King in P13. Brown, again, I told you, he's always in the top 15, this man. Currently in P14 here with Rayner in P15. And then we have Serpentine, must have made a mistake out there somewhere because he's now all the way down in 16th place. Unfortunate for him. He was looking like he was a good contender for a top 10 finish today, but yeah, he now finds himself down in P17, so there must have been an accident out there somewhere. Maybe that's what caused those people going in the pit lane. Sharp, who obviously didn't have you start from the back of the grid, now finds himself up in P18 in the NSX. Gedman's having a great race so far as well. He's up in P19 currently. V-Spec just doesn't seem to have the pace out there today. He is currently in P20. This is a big old train of cars here. There is 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th V-Spec here trying to attack Gedman, but he has to be careful that Duran doesn't capitalise and pounce on him as well. Although it does look like one of the Ferraris, that Serpentine, potentially going in the pits. I imagine he must have damage then. And Paulson, is currently in P22, looking at that battle ahead. Just going to ride here with Duran as he looks like he's trying to put pressure on Gedman here. This is a battle for 17th and 18th. They do think better of it, but it is, V-Spec that does get through both those drivers. And then we have Prentice currently down in P24. He must have been involved in an accident then, because I thought he went in the pit lane, but he hasn't. He's now down in P24. Oh no, so he has pitted. So he's the net pit leader currently. And then Cobb is pitted, Grace, Pospisil, Caruana, Radic, Van den Waal, and Prentice looks like he has retired from this race. So what I would say then, guys, and it is worth noting here, it is what looks like is happening, and this is the strategy I was just calling a second ago, is it looks like most of these drivers now are going in, doing a quick fuel stop, your 1 litre fuel stop, and then basically they're going to run that car now until the rain stops, and then I imagine they'll dive in, do a pit stop for fresh dry tyres, and then they'll run that tyre then to the end of the race. That's probably the main strategy for those drivers, and then the reverse of that strategy will be that all these drivers at the front will stay out there until they get to the dry part of the race. They'll change to dry tyres, and then they'll run their car through to till near the end of the race, and then they'll come in the pits and do their last little splash and dash fuel stop, where the drivers that have been out for a little bit longer may then be able to capitalise and obviously overtake those drivers. Now the only gamble on pitting early, I suppose, is that if it does rain again near the end of the race, then obviously that does mean you're going to get affected, because you'll have to pit again for more tyres. So it is a bit of a gamble, isn't it? But we'll see how it pays out. But at the minute we have was it Kaspari, Prentice, Cobb, Grace, Hymans, Serpentine, Deli, Pospisil, Caruana, Radic all have pitted already. So we'll see if that strategy pays off for the future. But this is a nice little battle here. This is who we're riding with at the minute. So this is King, Wazza, Mertens, and is that Brown in behind as well? Yeah, Brown and Rayner here. This is a battle for the top 10 at the minute, as they're all diving around. Let's have a ride inside here with Rayner as he tries to chase down Brown, King, and Wazza. Probably a good moment here to mention, obviously, with Patreon, guys, as we say every week, if you can support Patreon here at the Formula Racing League. Obviously there is a lot of cost involved in running these series, from server hire to graphic design to broadcasting, so obviously any contribution you can make is helpful. But obviously what we are doing as part of that kind of effort to get people to support the thing, as we are covering a few supporters of the series, obviously any Patreon supporter. One of those supporters is Will Rayner. We're just riding with him now as he's chasing down Brown and King here, and Wazza. This is a great little shot of all three of those drivers ahead of him. So as you can see, we'll give you his season 15 rundown. He raced 9 races last season. Didn't get any wins, didn't get any podiums. He did finish once in the top 10. He actually finished 30th in the championship in a BMW and scored 88 points. So this time round, he is now switched over to the Mercedes and currently finds himself in a nice little battle for the top 10. Looks like, yes, he has made that move on Brown, as I see, and was dives in the pits as well. So, yeah, Rayner here last season, yeah, got the one top 10 finish. So maybe if Rayner can maybe get, well, that was over 9 races. So I suppose if Rayner can get in the top 10 this week, he would be happy with that. So we just ride now a lap with our Patreon supporter, and so we will just, stay with him and give him a bit of coverage here. So Rayner, I think, yeah, how's his season gone so far? So where is the standings? I think, yeah, he hasn't had the greatest of seasons so far this time around, but obviously the standard of the championship has risen. Yeah, so far this season he's been quite consistent. I think he's had a 17th place and 2 18th places. I said currently finds himself in the top 10. He's made a move on King, made a move on Brown, and has gone in the pit lane. So as we're watching with Rayner now, he's put on a nice bit of a show for us, and he is currently in the top 10. Obviously there is a lot of drivers still yet to pit in this race, and we have the rain stopping in the next 10 minutes, so that's when we're going to see a lot of drivers diving in for those dry tyres. But yeah, Rayner here, yeah, with his best finish of the season so far, being in the top 17, it will be interesting to see how his season will expand moving into this race here. Can he get himself onto that top 10, or even better maybe? Yeah, we'll see. But it looks like there is a top, front 5 breakaway. But yeah, Rayner having a good race here today, and yeah, wish him all the best, and we'll check back in with him later on. But back up at the front, it is still Aresh leading the way, moving through the field. The back markers, you can see Zampolini in the background. This is a battle, yeah, for first and second. Van den Ham is struggling to hold on to the pace of the front runners. He is now 11 seconds off the back. In a race of his own at the minute, because he has a 7-second gap to Kopsch behind him. So at the minute, Van den Ham is just kind of in a battle for himself for the podium. Vetzer is starting to close that gap on Kopsch here. Only 1 second now between 4th and 5th. Rogers, who was 11 seconds back off the top 5, is now 12 seconds back. So it looks like maybe there's 2 kind of battles going on today. The battle of the front 5 drivers, and then obviously the battle of everybody else. Rogers currently in P6. As Naisbitt chasing him down in P7, 2.5 seconds back, who in turn has Tulloch behind him, 1.6 seconds back. But yeah, Stu Rogers is leading the way of the rest, so we say the best of the rest. But obviously, so there are a few drivers that have pitted, so that's not like by any means over. And you'll have Kaspari and Prentice battling out for him, I'm sure, in the next few laps, when obviously everyone else comes in the pits as well. King here is now trying to, so it looks like he has just got past Brown here. It's a battle for 11th and 12th. They were at one point racing with Rayner, but Rayner's bolted off up the track, and it is now, yeah, Brown and King, yeah, chasing here for 11th and 12th. Was the driver that did pit in that battle as well, so it'll be curious to see how he, where he comes back out, and obviously when everyone else goes in the pits as well, whereabouts he filters back in. But like I said, there is going to be an interesting sort of split strategy, I think. Although it is bad news, I would say, for the drivers at the back that have pitted already, because the rain's stopping in 10 minutes, that would mean they'd have to run that last set of tyres for about 70 minutes. And I think they'll probably be screaming by the end. But I'd imagine that's what they're going to have to do. Whereas like the other drivers, they're swapping to dry. Oh no, I suppose everyone's going to be in the same boat, really. But that's going to be, it's going to be curious actually, because if anyone in that second stint of drivers puts on the dry tyre, well, to be fair, a lot of them have been driving in the dry tyre anyway. I'm just trying to think, I presume they probably were on wets, I'm not sure, but I'd imagine, is anyone in the chat, what do you reckon? Do you reckon they were actually driving with wet tyres, or do we think that they have just been racing in the dry tyre? Because you can race a dry tyre on a damp track, can't you? So do you think they've even had the wet tyres on? That's a curious question, actually. Just going to ride here with Duran as he's putting pressure now on Gedman here. This is a Porsche on Porsche battle, 14th and 15th here. Gedman having a good race. I say he started from the pit lane, now finds himself up in 2P14. He has got the pressure now of the Porsche. Ooh, Duran just sort of, poked his sort of down the inside, probably made him have a look, but it is Gedman that's holding out at the minute. Sharp actually as well, he didn't have a great qualifying session. He's up in P16. V-Spec, like I said, just can't seem to find the pace out there today. And out the front it is Kaspari that is leading the way of the pitted drivers. It looks like he didn't bother repairing that damage either. Well, he didn't repair the cosmetic side of it, at least, anyway. And Radic, who had a bit of a crash at the start, he is now down in P25. Now, it looks like Simon must have retired, actually, from today's race. So Simon has retired. Looks like Jack Prentice has retired as well. So we have had a few retirements from this race, which is good news for the people that stayed in it. Because remember, it's a point per position. So if you are in first, it's 40 points. Second is 39. Third is 38. So it goes all the way down to 1. So obviously, when the drivers behind you retire, it does mean that you are going to be able to move up the order slightly. In the championship, that is, sorry. Vetzer is... I just don't know if he's... Yeah, he seems to catch up with Kopch, but doesn't have enough to get past him here. So they're on similar kind of pace. But I guess if you're teammates, you don't want to put too much pressure on your teammate in the sense, you don't want to crash into him or make a mistake, because obviously looks like the Ford Mustang's currently in first, fourth and fifth for Schwichter Motorsport. They're having a great little race out there today. Rogers, like I said, is also in a Ford, currently in P6. That is 4 Fords in the top 6, 5 in the top 8. This is obviously clearly a Ford Mustang track. But yeah, Rogers here is steadily holding out at the 12-second mark. I think Naisbitt is actually closed up here, 1.2 seconds back now. So I wonder if Naisbitt's just found another gear. He's now, he is. He's only 0.8 of a second behind now. So he is trying to catch up here, and also Fetzer as well, right up behind the back of Kopch here. So this is a great little drive by those two. Let's, just to give you an idea of how their seasons have gone so far as well. So Kopch is where is he in the championship? Let's have a look. Trying to find his position so far. Yeah, so Kopch is currently P19 in the championship. So let's ride with him for a second as we try this one. Yeah, so Kopch here, P19. He's had a 31st, a 14th, and a 16th. So if you look at those 3 positions, currently 19th with 52 points in the championship. So now finds himself up in P4. So he's really found another gear in the championship. So like I said, that is a surprise position for him currently so far. And then Fetzer in the championship, he is currently in P16. He's had a 16th place and an 11th place. So neither of these two drivers have had a top 10 finish this season. Obviously Fetzer didn't race it, but looks like at Paul Ricard, so that would have been his drop round. So yeah, so this is like for Kopch and Fetzer to be in 4th and 5th, that's a big race for those two. I mean, we do know, like I said as well, that Stu Rogers is 9th in the championship currently running in P6. He's maintaining that gap at 12.5 seconds. So he's had 2 top 10 finishes so far in 2 7ths. And then he was 22nd at the Red Bull Ring. And he's currently in P6. So this would actually be his best finish of the season so far. So that is, so he's back with Brown here. Brown here putting a bit of pressure on Nelson. This is a battle for 11th and 12th. So Nelson, he won 1 point. I think, where is Nelson in the championship? Nelson's currently P17, but he finished 9th in the first race of the season, then had a 20 and a 27th. So Nelson does have more pace than he has been showing. Ruan Heinecki in the chat saying Ferrari on dries with pressures very high works well here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Heinecki. So I'm not sure whether they're even on wet tyres. So I was saying about how that would affect, if they switch from wet to dry, but I don't know if they are even on wet tyres. I'm not sure. So if they are on dries, then you might find that they'll stay out there for a bit longer. Well, yeah, that'll be the answer, won't it, Heinecki? So I have to think about that. So yeah, because if everyone pits in the next 5 laps when the track goes dry, then you know the answer. But obviously when the track goes dry, if everyone stays out there, because you can't race wets because obviously they get too hot, don't they? So if everyone stays out there in the next 5 minutes when the track goes dry, then I'd imagine that means, like I said, the track, that they are on dry. So let's just wait and see what happens there. That's good insight. I guess, Heinecki, you are a Ferrari driver with that insight. Naisbitt now right up behind Rogers. This is a battle for 6th and 7th here. Naisbitt has been following Rogers for a long time now. Naisbitt, who did start the season with a Honda NSX, bottled it and then decided to switch over to the McLaren. And it looks like he's got a better drive at the last corner there, side by side. Come around here, it looks like Stu Rogers is going to, yeah, it looks like he backs out that one. I don't know if he maybe just sort of yielded that position. Maybe sort of see if Naisbitt can have a bit more speed out there. But actually, these drivers have caught up with the drivers ahead. So Kopsch and Fetzer here have lost 2.5 seconds to Rogers. So Rogers and Naisbitt don't want to be battling each other, which is probably maybe why he moved out of the way, because these drivers, yeah, have now caught up almost 2 seconds on the drivers ahead. So makes you wonder if it is the dry track and maybe they are getting affected with their hot tyres. But yeah, they have caught up 2 seconds on the drivers ahead. So don't rule out these drivers closing that field gap down. Up at the back though, I don't want to sort of cover everything at the front, but it is Delhi here chasing down Serpentine for 24th and 25th. Serpentine at one point was looking like he was challenging for sort of 8th place at the minute in the race. Obviously, with a few people around him had accidents, but it looks like maybe he got caught up in one himself. Now finds himself down in P25. Some big fast drivers at the back as well, with Tullock, Caruana, Wazza, all those drivers somewhere near the back here. So it is, who else is down there? Van der Waal has been, yeah, he hasn't even pitted yet, so Van der Waal's not having a great race out there, because, yeah, he hasn't even pitted yet, he's last. Rayner, who has pitted, like I said, is P22, currently chasing down Hyman's ahead of him. Hyman's is only 1 second as well behind Grace. Grace, who's currently in the top 10, finds himself down in 20th place here, so that would mean he might potentially be tumbling himself out of the top 10 of the championship. Grace has 11.7 seconds to close the gap on Cobb ahead, so he will have to find another gear if he is to try and challenge to get a few more points here. Gedman is now coming in the pits, so the track has gone to optimum, and that's a quick change. It was just literally greasy a second ago. It's now saying optimum. Is that a glitch? There's no way the track's gone from greasy to optimum that quickly. Or does it because of the amount of drivers out there? I'm not sure. Anyone with a bit more insight in the chat that can help me out with that one, yeah, it'd be interesting to know. King now chasing down Mertens for 8th and 9th place here. But yeah, with Gedman coming in the pits, makes you wonder if he did have wet tyres. But the track is now dry, so are these people, so the people coming in the pits now, I'd imagine that you can see Naisbitt coming in the pits now as well, so he probably had wet tyres as well. So this is answering a few of our questions, because this is pretty much bang on sort of timing. If they didn't, looks like Aresh maybe was racing. If Aresh has been out there setting the fast laps to race, and he is, there are drivers that were on wet tyres and he's been on dries, that would be a hell of a pace out there. Zampolini still holding on to Aresh here. It's still he is 2.3 seconds back, putting pressure on. Kopsch is closing the gap to Van den Ham as well, currently 8.6 seconds. Fetzer has dropped off of the back, 3.5 seconds off the back of Kopsch. But interestingly, as you can see the smoke ahead there, looks like it's maybe a back marker. But Rogers, who was at 1.10 seconds off of the back of Fetzer, now is 14 seconds back. Actually, was that because it was Naisbitt? Actually, Naisbitt was closer. He has opted to pit, as we said, and so is Mertens, so is Sharp. So it makes you wonder if these drivers were on wet tyres. Brown now up into P9 here, chasing down Nelson. This is there's a stop and go 30 penny for Naisbitt. So he was looking like he was going to be challenging for a top, maybe even a top 5 position, and that stop and go 30 penalty is going to put him right down the order. Bad news, but great news for Stu Rogers. Stu Rogers now has a comfortable gap, and I don't think he has much pressure behind him until the other drivers come through of like Kaspari and Prentice, wasn't it? So where have they come out in relation to that? So Kaspari and Prentice have both got through, and it looks like Naisbitt has just tucked in behind them. So yeah, so that is the battle there: Kaspari, Prentice, Naisbitt, and Rogers. But unfortunately, yes, it looks like with that Naisbitt stop and go 30 penalty, that is going to be a bit of a punishment for him, because he's now going to be right down the back of the grid, because he's done a pit stop and now he's got to do a full another pit stop. So that's really bad news. Gedman, who has done his stop, does find himself down in P28, chasing down Caruana here. And it looks like Sharp is maybe just coming out after his first stop as well. There's a battle going on in a minute. So Delhi here on Serpentine. This is a battle for 21st and 22nd. Really unfortunate for Serpentine, because I said I was looking forward to seeing him up there in the top 10. I do think we've got a bit of a crowd as well of the still a bit of a crowd, so yeah, a bit of a group of people coming into the chat after the race. I think we've got, what, 4 drivers coming in, I think. So we've got a driver from T2 and maybe I think it's 3 drivers from T1. So yeah, we'll keep a I can't remember exactly. I think we might have Gedman coming in, Naismith might be coming in. I think we've got I think Rayner, I think Aresh, maybe the race leader's coming in as well. But Aresh at one point was looking like he was going to bolt away from Zampolini, but Zampolini is holding firm here, only less than 3 seconds back, so he can still see Aresh ahead of him. So this may come down to pit stops and strategy between these 2 drivers. I said, Vandenham actually said, I said he was in a race of his own. He's now got a 10-second gap to Cox behind. He has got Radic just behind him there, right up in his gearbox. But hopefully, they don't crash with each other here, as Vandenham is in a race for a podium spot, and he has the Porsche of Radic behind him. Radic being really aggressive here, he tucks up on the inside. Hopefully, they don't have a coming together here, because that is Radic, who is a lap down here, P19, obviously after his pit stop. But Vandenham, 22 seconds off of the front 2 drivers. So this field is starting to split into 3 little battles here. So we have Aresh and Zampolini for the race win. Vandenham, obviously Kopsch and Fetzer. I said, they're all kind of in a battle for 3, 4 and 5. And then Rogers is currently leading the battle of the rest of the pack. You can see here King has 20-second gap on Rogers, and so Rogers in that 6th place battle has that big gap advantage. But we do know it is going to be Kaspari that's coming out potentially to challenge for that position with Prentice in 12th. Prentice is doing quite well, in his first race of the season. Brother of Jack Prentice, he is racing currently in P12 with Kaspari. Kaspari, we do know, got caught out in a bit of an unfortunate incident with Simon, who lost control of his vehicle, and then Kaspari just had nowhere to go as he came back on the track. It's unfortunate for him, but he has a bit of front end damage, and he did. Prentice is holding firm here, but what I am curious about is where Stu Rogers is going to come out in that battle. Just looking here, Wazza now trying to chase down Mertens here. Look inside the Bentley here. This is the right-hand drive car. It's one of the only right-hand drive cars I think on ACC. There's only a couple, isn't there? Wazza here, you can see that. That is one thing we need to watch out for as well. Obviously, we haven't had any drive-through penalties yet for track infringements, but I imagine we'll get a few. Actually, I don't know how bad it is here, because obviously I think even if you go wide on that first corner, I think it just counts as like track limits but no time gain, doesn't it? I'm not sure you get many penalties here. I'm not sure where the main it's one of those tracks where you don't really do many runoffs because of the the lack of runoffs there are, because there's all barriers everywhere. But Wazza here trying to put pressure on Mertens for 21st place. And Mertens is only 1.6 seconds off the back of Delhi. So this is, they easily can get themselves back up into the top 20. And then it is Serpentine ahead of them. Serpentine, I said at one point was in P8, now down in P19. So hopefully Serpentine can move his way back up the order. We do know that Radic, like I said, was trying to make his way past Vandenham. Has Vandenham come in the pits now? Where is he? Has he pitted? It looks like Vandenham has pitted. There you go. So he is now the net pit leader. You can see he's pitted and come back out. Where has he come back out? Who's behind him? Trying to work out who the next driver is. Is it Durant? Either way, I don't think he's he's some way ahead of the rest of the field. But look, based on this, then I would imagine most drivers then were racing out there on dry tyres. As we can see now, Brown comes in the pits from P14, and Naismith comes. There you go. So Brown straight in, straight out. So that must be just a fuel stop. So that means he hasn't changed his tyres. So we will expect him to come back in and be faster on his second stint. Rayner here chasing down Hymans. But as we continue our Patreon mentions here, as we said, there are 3 drivers we cover every week on driver profiles. People that support the Patreon, obviously, or admins of the league. So the second driver on our coverage today is Chris Gedman. Chris Gedman currently in P24 in the 79 Porsche, 2.6 seconds back on Caruana. He does have Tulloch behind him as well. Tulloch currently has the fastest lap of the race, which is quite interesting, down in P25. And as we say, as Tulloch is making a move on Gedman, he does make his way through here. But yeah, Gedman here, looking at his last season statistics then, guys. So last season he raced in 8 of the 9 races. He had 0 wins, 0 podiums, 0 top 10s, but actually managed to finish 21st in the championship with 144 points. So you would say that Gedman's challenge this time round is to maybe see if he can get himself into the top 10. The only issue with that is that the field of season 16 is far stronger than the field of season 15. Apparently there's a lot of faster drivers out there, so Gedman will have it all to do if he wants to get himself on the podium. But yeah, he needs to try and see if he can capitalise and get himself up higher than 21st in the championship. I think currently this season he is... where is he in the championship so far? Let's see if I can find him. Currently in P32, so he's had a 21st, a 31st and a 26th. Currently 35 points this time round. So Gedman will have to try and, yeah, find a bit more pace in the last few races if he is to get himself up the order back into sort of beat his 21st finish of last year. But let's ride with him for a moment inside the car and see how he's getting on. Like I said, he has lost that position to Tulloch, but no kind of issue there when you look at Tulloch here currently having the fastest lap of the race. This is good little lap time by him. So maybe he did put some fresh tyres on, or maybe just now the track's got drier. But maybe Tulloch came in and he's actually fitted dry tyres, and actually Eresh is out there on wet tyres just running him into the ground. I'm surprised, we haven't seen Eresh maybe, but I suppose, when you're putting fresh tyres on in the optimum kind of track conditions, maybe that's why he hasn't got the fastest lap. So I think we'll probably see the drivers at the front beat that time maybe at a later date. But Tulloch currently the fastest driver out there. Gedman's already lost 2.3 seconds on him, so Tulloch is on the move. Like I said, we will catch up with Gedman as the race goes on. We have had a couple of more retirements. So I think we started this race with 33 drivers. We're now down to 28, so 2 more drivers have retired. So it looks like Gedman is maybe near the back of the field, but he's not really, because 5 drivers have retired from this race so far already. So we'll come back in with Gedman later on and check up on him, but he is having a good race so far. And then, it is Eresh now. So, but interesting, Zampolini now only a second behind Eresh. So maybe Eresh's tyres are starting to fall off a little bit. Because it was just maybe it was I don't know if they've got many back markers here, but Zampolini is starting to get to a nice little groove, and he can now start to really see that Ford Mustang ahead. So these drivers are going to go absolutely at it as we do hit the hour mark left. I'm just going to grab a quick drink, guys. We'll ride with Zampolini and see if he can close down that gap on Eresh, and I'll be back shortly. I'm going to grab a drink. Okay, so like I said, we have 1 hour left of this 100-minute special event race. You do have to do 2 pit stops today, and most of the drivers of the field from Van den Ham down, they have all done their stops. Obviously Van der Waal is the only driver at the back that hasn't done his first stop yet, but every driver here has done it. Just looking at you here as well, we have a bit of a battle going on here with Wazza and King, and then Delhi, and then Pospisil all behind. So this is a bit of a train here between 16th, 17th, 18th and 19th. So there's a good bit of battling going on here. You can see here Pospisil at the back of this battle here. Is 2 McLarens and the Bentley at the front. But then was only 1.6 seconds off of the back of Mertens in 15th place. So really, this is a great opportunity even for Pospisil in 19th place to maybe get himself up into the top 15. It is V-Spec now that does have the fast up the race, down in 27th. But you can see these drivers here. This is a great little train here, great little battle, great opportunity for these drivers to move themselves up the order. You can see here is Delhi now putting pressure on King here. It's a battle for 17th and 18th. And that is Pospisil now looking dangerous as well. So Pospisil's on the outside line and Delhi's going to go for the inside line here. So King needs to be careful. He's got attacks coming from both sides. And it is, yeah, everyone's just sort of... Everyone's being quite smart around the bus stop at the minute. So that is quite safe, you know, safe driving by all these drivers here. But it looks like King is under heavy pressure now from Delhi. This is, like I said, a battle for 17th. And 18th here, and Delhi trying everything he can to get his way through, and Pospisil probably just waiting for an accident to happen so he can then dive on through. Just checking in as well. No, we're all good. Yeah, so is he going to try and make him? No, he's dived wide here. Is that going to allow Pospisil? Oh, I thought they were going to touch there as well. So Pospisil now, is he going to be able to make a move on Delhi? So Delhi again, this is happening quite a lot today. With goes from attack from to defence, but actually up at the front is that. Zampolini, he made I think he had an accident there, hasn't he? Have we had another incident, guys, where a driver has Zampolini and Arash come together again? I don't know if they have. I don't know if anyone can mention that, but Zampolini, who was right up behind Arash, now finds himself massively down the order behind Kopsch here in P3. Oh no, sorry, no, so he has pitted, sorry. I was going to say I thought it was an incident, but sorry, I've just seen that, yeah, Zampolini has pitted. Arash as well is currently stationary, and Zampolini's going to come through. So did Zampolini do a stop just for fuel, and Arash maybe is changing tyres here? This maybe looks like that's the case, isn't it? So Zampolini... Actually, I don't know. It's hard to... Oh, no, there's a big... Someone's crashed into the side of Zampolini there. Who was that? That was the... was that Delhi? Yeah, Delhi here, who's maybe had to come together with King. It's really unfortunate because you can see King's got damage there. He has hit the side of Zampolini, so I don't know how much that's going to affect Zampolini's race. I think he got off all right. I think he just kind of got hit the side and he carried on. But that is big news for the battle at the front. Zampolini, who is currently out in the lead. I don't know, maybe Arash maybe put more fuel in, or whether he's changed his tyres. But obviously we'll have to find out when the next 2 pit stops happen, whether it changes back the other way. But yeah, the big news at the front of the minute is that Zampolini just did get caught out and hit in the side of his car by the Swaling Delhi. Now down in 23rd. And as there is another stop and go 30 penalty for Nelson here as well. So yeah, Zampolini may have a bit of damage out there, and Arash will have to pay attention to that one. See, Arash is 15 seconds back on Zampolini, so I wonder if that is to do with one driver stopping for tyres and the other driver not. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But Zampolini currently, yeah, chasing down Kopsch. Obviously he hasn't pitted yet, but I think other than Kopsch, this is everyone that has pitted. So Fetzer has come back out. And yeah, Kaspari actually as well. Where is Rogers in relation to this? Yeah, Kaspari, who obviously pitted really early, finds himself a minute almost behind Fetzer, but obviously that'll probably settle down in a minute when they all go across the timing lines. Coming up to 1 now. What does it say? So yeah, 2.8. Yeah, there you go. So Fetzer is 21 seconds back off of Vandenham. Obviously, we'll see where Kopsch falls in when he comes in the pits. So Kaspari is currently the best of the rest in 6th place. But the fact that he's only 2.9 seconds off the back of Fetzer means he's right back in it. Prentice has done really well to hold on to the back of Kaspari, and Cobb has somehow snuck himself up there into P8 currently, and Rogers again, yeah, he's in P9. But like I said, we can't look too much into the pit stops currently, because some drivers will have pitted for tyres and some drivers will have not. So that means we do have a few drivers maybe potentially out of place because they've only done like a splash and dash, whereas other drivers have yeah, obviously change their tyres. So only when all the second stops happen will we really start to get an idea of where everyone is in this race. But yeah, just currently riding with Mertens here as he's chasing down Serpentine. Serpentine having a good recovery drive, so he clearly does have good pace around Watkins Glen, because he's now back up into 13th place, and he only has about 0.6 of a second to catch up with Rayner, who is 8.9 seconds then behind Radic in 11th, and Radic now obviously is putting pressure on Hymans here for 10th and 11th. So yeah, like I said, we don't exactly know how this is all going to pan out, but at the minute, yeah, it does look like it is, yeah, potentially all these drivers are in the hunt for a top 10. Tulloch at one point, who did have the fastest lap, is chasing down Brown here. This is about for 17th and 18th currently. I know Tulloch and Brown have had I think they're having a bit of a battle when it came, was it Massano, first race of the season. But yeah, right here now they are head to toe again. And V-Spec, who is currently the fastest driver out on circuit, currently 4.5 seconds back off of Gedman in P21. Gedman now 13 seconds off the back of Duran as well, so he's going to start chasing down him. So we can see Brown going defensive here, allowing the outside line for Tulloch. But yeah, I don't know if that's going to allow Tulloch to maybe get a better drive out the corner. And it's going to be Honda versus Ford speed up the hill around the sweeping left and right hand bends. Tulloch now right up behind that NSX. Is he going to try and make a move here? Or as you can see, the Honda gets a bit unstable on that right hand curb, and that's allowed the Ford Mustang. He's got the drive of it. I think he's just going to pin that around the outside. He holds the line. Yeah, the NSX sort of breaks early there. It's a great move by Tulloch, straight up into P16. Yeah, really good overtake there. So P17, sorry. And then yeah, that's a good move on Brown, and I'm glad we caught that one up there. What else is going on here? So we have Prentice now right up behind Kaspari. This is a battle for 6th and 7th. Zampolini coming in the pits again here. This is interesting. So Zampolini is opting to do both his pit stops back to back here. So I wonder if that's going to confuse Aresh a little bit here. So Aresh now, yeah, he's going to take back the lead of this race. And Zampolini is doing his, he stopped, what, 2 or 3 laps ago. And he's now clearly changing his tyres now. So yeah, this is maybe repairing a bit of damage as well. But that is Zampolini, the first of the front runners. Oh, that's it. That is it over for him. So we were robbed of a great battle at the front. Zampolini has a stop and go 30 penalty, which means he will now tumble himself down the order, because he's not only done stop twice, he's now going to have to go back in and stop again. So we've been robbed of a fantastic battle for the top spot of this championship, and or this race, sorry, and the championship. But Zampolini, who's just not had the rub of the green this season so far, with 2 bad results in race 1 and 2 because of incidents, finally gets himself into 4th place in race 3 and back in the hunt in the top 10 of the championship. And he's now gone and got a stop and go 30 penalty, which means he's going to fall down the order, and Aresh has probably reacted to that straight away. He now comes in the pits for his splash and dash pit stop, but when he comes back out, he will see that Zampolini's got a stop and go 30 penalty, and that'll be race done there. So yeah, that's unfortunate for him. Prentice here still chasing down Kaspari. This is a battle for 5th and 6th currently. Let's see, this probably will be a battle for 5th now with Zampolini and that stop and go 30 penalty. What I am going to be interested to see though is where Zampolini comes out in relation to Aresh, and what kind of race we might have had. Aresh, yeah, still now in the pits. Zampolini is behind. So I think, based off of this, and actually Aresh coming out now, so I think we probably would have seen Aresh take the lead. You know, he would have been in the front of the race anyway, and Zampolini would have had to have done it on track. As we can see, Zampolini coming around the last corner now. So, oh no, he's coming in the pits again to do a stop and go 30 penalty. So I think actually, yeah, looking at that, it would have been quite an epic little battle, wouldn't it? But unfortunately for us, it is we're not going to see that one. So that is it's a shame. But yeah, Gedman here on V-Spec. This is a battle for 21st and 22nd. Just seeing anyone say anything in the chat. Yeah, guys, if you're on the chat and you have any questions, feel free to chuck them through. But yeah, that's unfortunate at the front. But it looks like Gedman does have some damage here on the front of that Porsche. He is trying to chase down V-Spec here for a 21st place, but with that damage, I don't know what kind of speed he's got. Tulloch now right up on the back of Pospisil. Tulloch currently the man on the move here, and he is now going to try and make a move and get himself past the Audi of Pospisil. This is going to be a mirror move of what he did to maybe Brown. It depends if Pospisil going to hold that inside line. He's going to try and maybe go down the outside. No, looks like he's going to attack the inside here. So he made Pospisil think, and Turk's going to dive down the inside. That Ford is mighty around this track. He brakes late. Great little turn in, and that is another move done. And that is, yeah, Tulloch up into P15. So he has now got 8.4 seconds to go to catch up with the drivers ahead. Just a bit further ahead actually. Looks like Mertens has now got past Serpentine here, so Mertens is now up into P12 and he has the opportunity now to chase down Rayner in P11. Rayner is having a better race today. I said his best finish on the season so far is 17th, now up into P11. Actually at the minute he has a legitimate chance of a top 10 finish if things don't always go the way at the front. But Rayner here, yes, he has got 2 drivers behind him, doing well, 3.5 seconds back off of Hyman's in the 10th place position. So, yeah, don't rule out Rayner potentially getting his first top 10 of the season. Is that Zampolini with another stop and go 30 penalty? Oh, it's not news. That's bad news for Zampolini. So Zampolini, who's pitted twice already, has got a stop and go 30 penalty. Went in and served it, and it looks like he's come back out and he's got another stop and go 30 penalty. So I'd imagine Zampolini is probably going to be thinking about retiring now. So at one point he looked like he was challenging for the race lead. He's now going to find himself right out of the order. So yeah, all these drivers up here, it's a free promotion. So Kaspari is currently in P4. Oh, that's only because the rest is behind them. So yeah, Kaspari and Prentice now actually battling it out for a top 5 finish in this race. Van den Ham actually is now going to get himself another second place position. How many second places has Van den Ham got this season, or podiums, because of Zampolini's issues? And yeah, Van den Ham is going to be loving this, because that is almost a dead cert second place, providing he makes no silly mistakes. Sorry, because Kopsch is in yes, well, he'll be net third, but he's 15 seconds back. Yeah, Radic has had a bit of a recovery here, isn't he? Like, obviously, Simon had a crash earlier as well, and so does Radic. But, yeah, Radic now is, in P9, 4.5 seconds back off of Rogers. We'll see if Rogers can also close the gap to Cobb here. Rogers currently in P8. But, yeah, Radic is having a good recovery drive, but we'll see if he can close that gap. He's currently 4.5 seconds back. When he crosses the line, we'll see where he is at in relation to that time, and then we'll see if he is catching up, or how's it going there. As he comes in the pit, he is stopping in the pit lane. So let's ride with the other battle at the minute, which is Mertens now trying to... I'll see Mertens trying to get past Rayner. He has now got past Rayner. So that is now... yeah, he's up into P11. And with Radic coming in the pit lane, and he's stopped now, isn't he? So yeah, this will be these drivers moving into the top 10. So Serpentine still has an outside chance of a top 10 here. Yeah, I was also saying that Zampolini. So Zampolini has now completed his last stop. Now down in P24. We've had loads of more retirements in this race, because there's now only 25 drivers left. We started with 33. I don't know if we can see that on the in the timetable section, can we? So when we went to qualifying, we had 33 drivers in qualifying. We now only have in the race 25, don't we? So yeah, 25 in the race. So obviously it doesn't tell me who's retired, but yeah, that is good news to the people, like I said, that are still in the race, because that does mean that we are going to have far more points. Because remember, it is a point per position. So if you finish in first, you get 40 points. If you finish in second, you get 39. If you finish in third, you get 38. But yeah, it's... So obviously even Nelson, who's currently last, so he has pitted twice, obviously he doesn't necessarily mean he's net last. But yeah, he is currently P25, which means so essentially he's now got 8 more points than all the drivers that finished behind him, because obviously they all retired early. So that just means Nelson's moved up the order, more and more points. Zampolini, like I said, down in 24th, 16 seconds off the back of Paulson. He will claw a few more places back, and I'm sure he's going to battle on hard, but yeah, he's not really had a great season. So Zampolini, one of the fastest drivers in this championship, and maybe could have challenged Aresh for the top spot. But unfortunately, I said he's had 2 incidents in race 1 and 2, P4 in race 3, and like I said, then now today's 2 stop and go penalties. But another big news as well is that Radic has a stop and go 30 penalty as well. which means he is now going to have to go back in the pits again. So I imagine someone's probably taken out the pit board here, but that does mean then that Mertens, who is in P10, will stay in P10. So yeah, this Serpentine, Rayner, Mertens battle, and even Wazza now tucking in behind as well. This little battle here is the battle for the top 10. So all these drivers need to make sure they don't make any more mistakes in their last pit stops. I think so. This driver, this is literally 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. But all these drivers are potentially have a chance to get on in the top 10, which is always a good achievement in these kind of races. But do not rule out Tulloch. Tulloch has already cruised past Brown, cruised past, I think it was Gedman or someone, also with Brown, Pospisil, sorry, and he's now chasing down Wazza. He was 4.5 seconds back, he's now only 3.6 seconds back, so Tulloch may potentially catch up with this order here and pass all these drivers and get himself up into the top 10. Tulloch actually this season, he is, where is he in the standings? Tulloch, yes, currently P15. He's had a 15th and 11th and a 32nd. So Tulloch hasn't had a top 10 this season. This is going to be a great opportunity for him to maybe grab one today. Rogers is slowly closing the gap to Cobb, but is now only 2.1 seconds in that battle for 6th and 7th. Kaspari is 8 seconds back in P8. So actually I wonder if Kaspari's had an incident here, because Kaspari at one point was in a battle with Prentice, but it looks like Prentice is now now finds himself ahead of Kaspari. So obviously with Kaspari coming in the pits, and I don't know if that bumper's hang off anymore, but that's unfortunate for those drivers if they have had a coming together. Serpentine here will be desperate to get past Rayner. Rayner is starting to fall off the back of Mertens ahead, so Serpentine's going to try and get past here and then maybe challenge, because now he'll know that Mertens ahead, that is a legitimate top 10 finish. So I did say that that potentially his opportunity was over when he did tumble down the order at the start, but he has clawed his way back up. He is putting pressure on that Mercedes now of Rayner, and he's going to look down the inside here. He's late on the brakes, and Rayner dives out there. I don't think Rayner had the opportunity to turn in, and he slides and hits the barrier as well. So I don't know if that's been a really unfortunate thing for Rayner. So Rayner, who did, like I said, he was looking like he was having one of his best races of the season, now has severe damage on that car. He's going to lose a lot of positions. That is the Honda of Brown coming past here, so he's lost down to 15th place. And is that Duran now in behind? Yeah, Duran now putting pressure on him as well. So it looks like, I mean, I don't think Serpentine did anything wrong. He dived down the inside, but I don't think potentially. So I get my words out. It was Rayner. So I don't think Rayner was actually expecting that. And he just kind of hit the grass, slid down. He lets the Porsche through here, and unfortunately for him, that means he has been caught up. As you can see, he's got the hazards on because he has got the damage on the car, and obviously he's going to let a few people through. But unfortunate there. But Serpentine, I said, I don't think he did anything wrong. It was a good overtake. And Kaspari now gets a drive-through penalty. So I do think the pit board has been taken out, and it is affecting a lot of people. So if you are listening to the race stream as you are racing and you haven't done your second stop, we've had 4 drivers so far get stop and go 30 penalties on their second pit stops. So there's clearly an issue with the pit board. So do not rely on the pit board if you are listening in the broadcast. It is not there, so make sure you're driving in the pit lane safe, especially if you're challenging in that top 10 battle, because there's a lot of drivers being affected out there. As you can see now, Rogers is now right up behind Cobb here. He's clawed back 1 second, now only 1.3. It looks a bit closer than that actually coming into this race, coming into this left-hander, sorry. But how many more drivers are going to get caught out by that pit board and get those stop and go 30 penalties? So Kaspari, though, like I said, he was in a battle before Prentice for that top 5 spot, now finds himself down out of the order as well. So that means actually Mertens and Serpentine, who are, like I said, 9th and 10th in the standings currently, that means they'll probably still be there come pit stop runs, because the drivers around them in the battle have now fallen down the order with the stop and go penalties. So that means Wazza again, who here has a chance to get the top 10 as well. So Wazza needs to get past Serpentine, and that'll be up into the top 10. So the positions they can see on the track right now. So I don't know if they'll be aware of everything that's going on around them, but they do have a chance now to stay in the positions they're at. So the people that have completed all their stops is Caruana in P20. Zampolini in P22, although he's stopped 4 times because of stop and go penalties. Radic in 23rd, Nelson in 24th, and then Kaspari in 25th. And obviously then Aresh up at the front, but he's in a race of his own. The only person that could have challenged Aresh today for that position, for the sort of the win of this race, was probably Zampolini. But with those stops, he has now been affected. So yeah, I don't think that's going to change there. I think Aresh will probably win this one. Van den Ham is still currently leading this race, but so he has one more stop to do. Kopsch at one point, I think, was about 10 seconds. Yeah, he's 13 seconds back now. So Van den Ham is slowly eking out that gap to the P3rd man, Kopsch. Fetzer at one point was challenging Kopsch for what was about for 4th and 5th, but Fetzer now finds himself 12 seconds back here, and Prentice is, I think there's something back from that order there, yeah, so you can see it is Van den Ham crossing the start-finish line now. Prentice looks like he is going to potentially get himself a nice top 5 finish here. Rogers now right up behind Cobb. This is a battle for 6th and 7th. This will actually be if Rogers can get this move done on Cobb. Rogers' best finish of the season so far is a P7. So actually, where he's currently positioned now, so this pass, which would be a pass for P6, would then help Rogers complete his best finish of the season. So hopefully, he can have a good little battle here with Cobb and then make his way up to his best finish of the season so far. I'm not sure. Let's have a look at Cobb actually as well and see how Cobb is doing in this race. In the championship. Sorry, we know he's 6th in this race. So we'll ride here with Rogers as he's chasing down Cobb. Let's have a look at the standings and see how's Cobb's season going so far. Yeah, so Cobb is currently P27 in the championship. He actually failed to sign out of race 2, so he had a bit of a penalty there. But I think he had 10 penalty points. But he has a P30 finish and then a P9 finish. As I say that, Cobb has gone completely wide. Then he's almost spun out. I thought he was going to take the 2 cars ahead of him, but Rogers has just put pressure on Cobb and allowed. He's got himself straight through here. Zampolini behind, obviously, is a lap down, but Cobb, with I presume what will look like an unforced error, now finds himself down in P7. He managed to hold that. That was a Code Brown moment as he was sliding left and right, but fair play to him for holding on there, and he has managed to avoid disaster, and it is actually he's managed to hold on there, and Rogers now creeps himself up into P6. He has 8.2 seconds to close down on Prentice. I think he probably just let Zampolini through because they're on 2 completely different races. And then what else is happening around here? I don't want to miss too much. So Durand here is trying to chase down Brown. This is about for 13th and 14th. Like I said, if you want to know where Brown is, just look somewhere near the top 15, between 10th and 15th place, and that's probably where you will find him. But Durand here, is chasing down Brown. This is a good battle for 13th and 14th, as we can now see Cobb going in the pit lane. So I don't think he picked up any damage, but I presume he probably just wants to give himself a reset. Mertens now is closed up onto Hyman's here. Was has fallen right off the back of this battle here, but Mertens is kicked up a gear, now chasing down Hyman's. Has Serpentine made an incident here? Because Serpentine now back down in 12th place. Is that another unforced error as he finds himself now? Where's Rayner here? So Rayner. Is Rayner pitted? Oh yeah, Rayner has pitted. There's I'm trying to work out why Rayner was behind him there. But Serpentine looks like he has had another unforced error. Now down in 12th place. Pospisil has moved up himself up to 11th. Was has now broken into the top 10 here. So still all to play for at the back. Or in the mid-table, should I say? Because obviously we have a couple of drivers in the championship that haven't actually. So of the top 10 in the championship, who is not here today? So we have so Aresh is currently leading the championship, and he'll probably win this race. And then Van den Ham is second in the championship. He'll probably finish second in this race. So those two people will probably stay first and second in the championship. But then you have Hooper, I think, who is third place in the championship, has now retired from the championship. V-Spec is in fourth, currently finds himself down in 15th in this race, so he's not getting a great points haul today. And then Radic, who's in fifth in the championship, he is currently down in 20th place in this race. So, and then Roberts, who's in sixth in the standings, he isn't even racing today. So that's going to drop him out of the top 10 probably. And then Grace, who's seventh in the championship, I think he's retired from this race, so that's not going to be another great point haul from him either. And then Kaspari, who's 8th in the championship, is currently down in P25. I think he's probably retired from this race. So all these drivers ahead, like, they're all going to have bad races today. So actually the one man that's going to capitalise massively today is Stu Rogers, who's currently 9th in the championship, currently P6 in this race, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers ahead of him, all within 3 or 4 points, and every single one of them is not going to have anywhere near as many points as him. So Stu Rogers in today's race may find himself jumping from 9th in the championship up into what will be 3rd in the championship with 2 races to go. I think if you offered Stu Rogers, if you said to him, yeah, you'd be on 3rd place in the championship after 4 races, I think he'd bite your hand off. I think maybe, yeah, when we covered his statistics from last season, I'm not sure where he finished last year, but yeah, I think he'd be more than happy with that position. So that is great bit of driving from Stu Rogers, and that's consistency for you as well, because like I said, he's had 2 7th place finishes. And obviously then a 22nd, which was obviously his drop round, and obviously today he's going to get a 6th. So that's a 7th, 7th, 6th, and that's a really consistent drive. And so that is really going to be the reason why he's going to move up the order there. So fantastic driving from him, well done. Let's see what's happening in the battles here. So it looks like Mertens is still trying to chase down Heymans. We also have what looks like V-Spec here trying to chase down King. This is a battle for 14th and 15th place. You can see now V-Spec just looking down the inside. Looks like a V-Spec is starting to find another gear here as we just starting to drip into the last half an hour of this race. V-Spec here got the inside line. He dives down the inside of King here, and that moves V-Spec up into 14th place, and he's now going to kick himself on. He's got about 5 seconds to the back of Brown, but then when he hits the back of Brown, he has got a great chance of maybe closing into the top 10 of the championship. So V-Spec here could do well if he can get himself up into the top 10. So let's see how he gets on here. Cobb now is currently P16, but he has done both his pit stops, so we'll see where he trickles back in once everyone else has stopped. It is still Van den Ham staying out there with who's cut to half an hour to go, so the pit window will shut in 21 minutes, so we will see a lot of drivers diving in over the next 10 minutes or so. But it is Mertens, like I said, he is looking pretty racy. Every time I look, it says he's really, really close on the timing screen, so when we actually come to the track, he's not anywhere near potential overtake, which is always the way, and as soon as you go off, the overtakes happen. But actually it looks like as well that Radic is just making a move here on Paulson. This is a pass for position. He moves himself up into P18 in this race now as well, so but they have 11.7 seconds to catch up to Zampolini. Zampolini is in 17th, does have the fast lap of the race, which is a bonus point, I believe. So Zampolini does have a chance to keep Watkins if he catches up with Cobb. Oh no, everyone else still has to pit. So yeah, don't rule out Zampolini as well for potentially putting pressure on the top 10 come the end of the race. I said with half an hour to go, but obviously we need to see how everyone else goes when they pit. This is one of the big answers now, because Prentice is currently in the pit lane. He was in P5 here. Stu Rogers will hold P5 for a while, but with half an hour to go, like I said, we will start to see all other drivers trickle in. Who do we think is going to get that last third place spot? Do we think it's going to be Kopsch, guys, in the chat, or who do we think is going to take that final spot? Hyman's having quite a good race so far. Actually, Hyman's is not something we cover that much really, so I don't know how his season. Again, he is not a name we've mentioned a lot this season. So where is he in the standings?
Can't see his name. I'm just trying to find out where he is so we can... There you go. So yeah, he's currently P23 in the championship. So he's having a great race today. His best finish of the season so far is a P12 finish last race. So he actually had a 24th and a 23rd in race 1 and race 2. And then he got P12 in race 3. So maybe he's just found that next gear we were talking about. And actually he's now, yeah, he's under pressure from Mertens. But Hyman's here has a great chance to get a good haul of points today. So yeah, he's having a good race. But yeah, currently P23, like I said. So he does have a great chance to claw himself up the order. And it is worth it as well, guys. So we did say that we were going to cover 3 drivers today in the sort of Patreon covers that we do. So the last driver we are running with today is Arash, so our championship leader. Now, when I was looking to do his profile, Arash didn't actually race in season 15. So we had to go back to season 14 to get his profile. So when he raced in season 14, he raced in all 9 races. He won 6 of them. He got 7 podiums. In every single race, he finished in the top 10. He finished the season with 325 points and won that championship. So you do say if history is to repeat itself, we should probably expect the same thing again. And Aresh's dominance in season 14 was probably, a relief to a lot of the drivers in season 15 when he wasn't there. But now he's back. He's already won 2 of the 3 races. He looks a shoe-in to win, his 3rd race of 4. Of a 75% win ratio. So really, even last season he had a 66%. So he's coming back with even more dominance than in season 14. So Arash, yeah, like I said, he's a name on the race, qualifying sheets, or whatever you don't want to be looking at. Because when you're going to be having a tough day at the office when you've got one of the fastest drivers in ACC in your season. But not only that, he does it whilst on a controller, which is another insane statistic as well. That this man races with a controller, and he still manages to somehow dominate an entire field of of some of the top ACC sort of rig drivers or whatever. And he does it with a controller. So it is insane to think. I don't even know how he does it, but. Yeah, he's just really, really good and so smooth with that controller as well. So he just knows how to to race well with a controller. So why buy a rig when you can beat everyone with a controller? I suppose that is the saying, isn't it? So, just to mention as well, Van den Ham has finally yielded the top spot of this race. He has pitted, currently finds himself in P5. Like I said, he should be comfortably P2 come the end of all of the last pit stops here. We have 26 minutes to go. The pit window closes in just over a quarter of an hour. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the top 11 drivers to pit. Paulson is pitting from the back. It looks like Kaspari, like I said, has retired. Tulloch is in the pits as well now. I don't know if he's maybe had a retirement. So Tulloch at one point looked like he was going to be challenging for the top 10. Now finds himself out of this race. Obviously, I presume maybe he's had a DC or something. But yeah, he's now down and out, which is a shame. I don't know if anyone said anything in Discord. I'm just having a look now, seeing if anyone says anything. That is unfortunate for him if he has had a DC. Yeah, it looks like Jack Prentice has been suffering with broadband. That's a shame. And it looks like potentially that's had the same thing has happened to to Tulloch as well, or unless he's had a crash out there. That's really unfortunate. Zampolini now up into 16th place following his 2 stop and go penalties, and he's now trying to chase down V-Spec here for 15th place. But you can see here when he gets past the next driver, there is a big gap here between Wazza and everyone else, that he's trying to catch up with. Wazza, who's he battling with there? Is that Fetzer? Yeah, see, it looks like he's trying to chase down a lap. Well, obviously he is the lap guy trying to unlap himself. Obviously Wazza probably has fresher tyres here, but he is trying to keep up with the 3rd place man. Fetzer currently 14 seconds off of Arash, but he's about 23 seconds off of Kopsch. Rogers slowly and steadily going about his business. He has a great opportunity today to potentially finish in his highest position yet. but we need to see where, like I say, where Prentice comes out in all of this as well. So there's a lot of battling going on here. So Gedman, we can see there, they did have the damage here. So Serpentine here currently is moving into the top 10, so he's just in the pits now, so we'll see where he comes out. But Prentice now back up into 8th place. We need to wait for Duran and Hymans to pit, and then the question is where will Rogers come out in relation to Prentice? I think Prentice should be ahead, but the question is can Rogers be close enough to maybe put a battle on in the last 23 minutes? Where is Serpentine? And so Mertens, who has pitted, he is just ahead of Cobb here. This is about for 10th and 11th. So they're coming around the last corner now, and Serpentine is still in the pits. So where is Pospisil? He's coming in the pits now as well. So King's coming down. He's in P13. So actually Serpentine, maybe Serpentine didn't actually, maybe he had, he just splashed and dashed fuel. He didn't actually change his tyres. That could potentially be why Serpentine maybe was up there in the top 10. But it looks like he's going to tumble right down the order now. He has just finished his pit stop, but I think King and Wazza and everyone, unless they were a lap behind. Pospisil is behind him. No, he's out on track now there, and Serpentine just coming out the pit lane. So I'm not sure where Serpentine's going to come out here, but he's going to be some way down the order. Zampolini is still chasing down V-Spec. Is any action going to Prentice now? Yeah, Prentice on Duran here. This is, Prentice in his first race of the season. Based on the way that steering wheel is wobbling about, I think he's another one of those controller drivers. I think his brother Jack Prentice is also a controller driver as well. But yeah, this is Prentice. Oh, is that? Whew, that was close there. That was I think that was Duran going in the pit lane. I don't know if Prentice was expecting it here, but Duran's gone in the pits. Prentice now up into P7. We're just waiting to see what Hymans does. I think Stu Rogers is probably enjoying being out in P3 currently here. But it is Aresh now, only 5.7 seconds off of the front runner Kopsch. Aresh will soon to be taking the lead of this race, and like I said, in the last 100-minute race, I think he dominated by about 45-50 seconds. I don't know if he's going to have such dominance today, but he may well be so far ahead when all the pit stops have happened, because he is catching up with Kopsch already, and still yet to pit. Fetzer has pitted now. He is behind Van den Ham. Is that only... Did that say only 4 seconds? Where is Van den Ham? So Van den Ham there is we said P2. Fetzer is only 5.7 seconds back. So I'm wondering, again, if Kopsch is going to come out and actually find himself ahead of Van den Ham here. So this is curious. I thought Van den Ham was an absolute shoo-in for P4, but that might not necessarily be the case. Duran now coming out of the pit lane. We'll see where he settles back in. It looks like Mertens, now all the pit stops have happened, does find himself definitely in the top 10, so we do know he has a chance now. He's scoring some really good points. Prentice and Cobb here, they're all in there as well. So BMW's having a good day at the office. We still have four Ford Mustangs in the top 6 at the minute. Sorry, in the top 5, sorry. Who is going to finish out the top 10? Maybe it could be Pospisil, but depends where Hymans comes out. So we did know Hymans was having a good little race out there. But Pospisil again, another potential driver of the day. Zampolini has got past V-Spec and he's now up into P13, and only 4.6 seconds back off of Wazza, who's then half a second back off of Pospisil. So really, if he can close that gap to Wazza, he's got 2 seconds to then catch up with getting in the top 10 here. So don't rule out Zampolini as well, clawing himself back up in the top 10 here. Kaspari is definitely retired. Looks like Tulloch is retired as well. Caruana looks like he's retired as well. So we actually only have 22 drivers out there currently racing. We'll just go through the order now whilst everything's being settled in. So Paulson here is currently heading out. We're heading up the back. So I said back of the field, but obviously he is technically ahead of 11 cars because we've had so many retirements today. But just let's have a look and actually see how he's getting on in the season. So Paulson here, I think he is somewhere near the back. Paulson currently in... Well, so this is a big day for Paulson. He's currently 36th in the championship. His best finish of the season so far is a 24th. I think he's guaranteed a P22 today. So this will be his best finish of the season. Be a nice little points haul for him. And also there'll be a lot of drivers around him that have all retired. So Paulson may be able to claw himself up maybe into the top 30 of the championship. So he'll be really happy with his drive today. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean, at the end of the day, so sometimes just continuing. Is that Cobb in the wall there? Sorry. Just changing my thought there. So Cobb, was that Cobb in the wall? Was that Mertens? I think that was Mertens in the wall there. So I think there's been a bit of an accident there. And King now, who was 12 seconds off the back of that battle, is now right up behind Mertens. So Mertens has had an accident, and obviously we don't know how much damage he's got. That's big news at the in the top 10 battle. So yeah, Mertens, who was absolutely miles ahead, now finds himself. Yeah, that is literally 9th, 10th, 11th, and then Pospisil, and then Zampolini. So Zampolini will be able to see from his cockpit the actual 10th place car or 9th place car of Mertens. So as he goes on the right hander here, he can literally see 12th, 11th, 10th, and 9th all ahead of him here. So Zampolini, who had 2 stop and go 30 penalties today, and obviously found himself basically at the back of the grid, has clawed himself all the way back up. So he's essentially pitted 4 times, and he still has a chance to get himself up in the top 10. That shows you what kind of pace that Zampolini had. But yeah, he is now chasing down Pospisil here for 12th place. And then once he makes that move, obviously you can see that is literally 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th. And that's even 14th in the background. Zampolini cruises through Pospisil here up in the P12, fastest man on circuit at the minute. And he is going to be surprised, I think, himself that he has the chance to get the top 10 here. But it just goes to show you, though, guys, if you don't give up, you've always got an opportunity to claw it back in. But King right up on that. It looks like Wazza's got through, actually. Wazza's got through here. So Wazza now on the back of Mertens. This is Wazza's chance to maybe get himself up into P9. So, again, I don't think Wazza was expecting to be right up in the hunt. But Mertens is now 17.3 seconds off the back of Cobb. So I don't know how much damage that BMW has got. But Wazza's really going to try and see if he can make a move on him here. So Mertens will do his best to defend on Wazza, but we just don't know how much damage he's got. He's gone a little bit wide there. Wazza right up behind the back of the BMW now. He's going to try and hold that inside line. Is he going to try and break in late here? No, he thinks better of it. He's playing it smart, but the BMW is, to be fair, the Bentley, is hugging that apex far better than the BMW. But I don't know if he's going to have enough to maybe make a move down here. Is he going to think, he's going to try a dive bomb? No, So Wazza's having a good, sensible race. He is just holding on to the back of Mertens, but when they go across the next timing line, we'll have a look and see, because he is 17.3 seconds back. Zampolini, now past King, like we said, and Pospisil. Sorry, it looks like Pospisil maybe has had a crash here, because Pospisil is now back behind V-Spec. So Zampolini's got past King as well. Zampolini back up into the top 10. So Wazza now chasing down Mertens here, like we said, for P8. Has there been another crash there somewhere? I'm trying to work out why that positions have all dropped down, but Mertens here, he goes across the line, it is now 17.8, yes, so he's lost half a second here, so Wazza's going to want to make a move on this car as soon as possible. He needs to be careful with Zampolini behind. Zampolini now on the Bentley here, he's going to try and go down the inside line, he dives down the inside, hits the apex, they're going to go side by side, they bump a little bit there, and I thought Wazza was going to hit the grass there, but it got a little bit rough there, and Zampolini does get through. He's now going to chase down Mertens here for P8. So not only has Zampolini got into the top 10, he's now going to get himself up into 8th place here as well. That may be as far as he can go with 15 minutes to go here. Wazza took a little bit of a bump there, but he has managed to recover. He's got King just behind him here as well, but Zampolini going to try and hold that apex tight as he can. He's right up behind here now, and I think it won't be only be a few corners to go before. There you go, he's going to dive down the inside now. So straight through, great aggressive driving there by Zampolini, and he's made up what's that, 4 overtakes in 1 lap. He's now up into P8, but like I said, he's got 18 seconds to catch up on Hyman, so he'd have to drive at some sort of crazy speed there to obviously I don't know what you'd have to do. You'd have to be over a second a minute, wouldn't he, to catch up? But we'll keep an eye on it. 15.6 seconds. So basically, with 15 minutes to go, you'd have to catch up a second a minute. So we'll keep an eye on Zampolini as he catches up with Hymans. But Hymans, again, is only 2.8 seconds off the back of Cobb. They're all having good races here as well. Fetzer is behind, as Kopsch now is coming in the pit lane. So the question is where's Van den Ham come around the back of the circuit now? So is Kopsch pitting for tyres, or is he just coming in for a splash and dash? This is the question. And that'll be that'll sort of answer where Van den Ham is going to finish today. Stu Rogers also needs to pit with only 4 minutes left of the pit window. It's going to have to be in the next couple of laps Stu Rogers again has the potential to, we had the potential to maybe get into the top 6, and that would have been his best finish of the season. But yeah, Fetzer and Kopsch having one of the best races of their season. It looks like Kopsch is doing a splash and dash, and Vandenham is coming around the last corner now, so Kopsch has actually got out ahead. But what that does mean though is that Vandenham might actually have a nice fresh set of tyres. So although yeah, Vandenham is some way back off of Kopsch, you might find that his lap times will just be far superior because of Kopsch's tyre wear. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But yeah, Stu Rogers here is yeah, got Gordon Brown obviously trying to unlap himself just behind. We'll have to see where he goes. He might have to pit next lap or the lap after, as he's going to get himself a penalty. But back up here is King currently trying to chase down Mertens here. We do know Mertens was caught crashing into a wall shortly ago. Actually, it looks like Wazza's got past now as well. So Wazza is trying to keep up with Zampolini as they both hurtle down. But yeah, Wazza now up in the P9, so he'll be happy with that one. So if King can get past here against Mertens, that'll be King up into the top 10. So we did say that King wasn't having, he's had a bit of an unlucky season since that first race. So another top 10 finish would be really, really good for his season. Radic here trying to chase down Surfing Team for 14th and 15th place. Have we had another retirement as well? We've had another retirement in this race, guys, because Paulson is now up in the 21st. So that means we've had 12 retirements in today's race. I'm not sure who else has dropped out there, but that is, yeah, again, another retirement here. So I can't keep up with how many people have exited this race. But yeah, that is another driver gone. Your guess is as good as mine in the chat, guys, if you can let me know who you think's been retiring here. But there's another driver gone. So we started this race with 33 drivers. We now currently only have 21 left racing today. So Paulson is going to be getting a fantastic haul of points, and he'll be buzzing with that. Gedman as well with his 20th place finish. He'll be happy with that as well. Nelson and Rayner. I mean, all these drivers are getting good points. Brown currently in P17, but he's got 10 seconds on the round ahead of him. So I think that's going to be over for them. And yeah, Radic now right up on the back, and that's possibly still ahead of them as well. So Radic now potentially has a chance to, yeah, look at that. I don't think he even knew that Audi was there. So Serpentine dives down the inside, and yeah, the Radic here going to try and make a move. They're keeping it clean. And that Serpentine go flying into the wall. It's a big crash there by Serpentine. He has absolutely hit that wall head first. I think he probably just was really aggressive on that first corner, hit the curb on the second part of it, and that is, yeah, his car is absolutely mangled. He's got a proper wobble on there, and that's allowed Radic to get through. Radic has moved from 15th up into 13th. Pospisil has only moved down one place, and Serpentine, yeah, that's going to allow a lot of drivers behind him to be promoted. Serpentine had a really good chance today, but yeah, he is now going to be falling down the order. Brown will soon be catching up with him as well, making that overtake. But that was a big crash there for Serpentine, hitting the wall. And yeah, that's look at the damage on that car. You can tell he can't even keep it straight. That is wobbling left to right. That was a big impact, that one, wasn't it? Mertens doing a great job here of holding up King as well. So Mertens, who lost position to Zampolini and Wazza, they've already gained 5 seconds on the drivers ahead. Mertens trying his best to hold up King here. So this is the last. This is literally the legitimate 10th place position. So V-Spec here, King and Mertens. This is your 10th place battle right here. But actually, following the pit stops, it looks like Rogers has actually got himself up into P5. So it looks like he is. I'm pretty sure he's pipped. Where's Cobb? Yeah. So yeah, Rogers now currently riding in P5. So. Like we said, because of everyone around him that have fallen down the order slightly, we think it might actually be that Rogers might end up after this race being 3rd place in the championship, and he's gonna potentially here be finishing this race in 5th place. He's got a 19-second gap on Cobb behind. So bar anything stupid here, you think with the pit window now being closed and we're going into the last 10 minutes of the business end of this race. Rogers is looking great for a top 5 finish. So where are the main battles going on at the minute? So it looks like Kopsch is in 2nd. Vandenham is 11.3 seconds back. So with 9 minutes to go, I don't know if he's going to close that gap up. So it looks like Van den Ham is going to have to settle for third place. So you have to argue that Kopsch potentially, based off of his finishes so far. Let me just remind you guys as well that this season so far, looking at the standings, Kopsch is currently P19 in the championship. He had the best finish of the season of 14th. He's had a 31st, a 14th and a 16th. Now finds himself second place in this race. That's an insane drive by the Switch to Motorsport driver. And that is a Switch to Motorsport 1-2 here as well, with obviously with a driver coming in fourth as well. It's great. When they also had a chance of maybe getting a 1-2-3. It's really unfortunate Van den Ham in the Ferrari ruining that for them today. But Kopsch here has to be a shoe-in for driver of the day. Absolutely mental drive to finish second place. If you look at the statistics of his season so far, that'll bump him right up the order. Great drive by him. And yeah, and with Surfing Team coming out and doing his repairs, that's promoted Paulson to 20th. Paulson is just, every single driver ahead of him is just crashing, getting stop-and-go penalties, retiring, and he's having a great race. He's now up into top 20. Bearing in mind, he's 37th in the championship right now. He's 20th in this race. He's having a great little race today. Gedman here in 19th place. He suffered with a bit of damage on that second stint, which is unfortunate for him. So I just don't think he had necessarily had the greatest pace out there today. But yeah, he is obviously following that damage. Sorry, but yeah, he is currently P19. He's got 10 seconds to chase down on Nelson. Nelson having not a bad race in P18 today. Yeah, he's trying to chase down Rayner, but I think there is a big gap there as well as he crosses the line. I don't know if it'll tell us what it is. Yeah, 20 seconds. So I imagine Rayner's got that 17th place locked in. He's got a 20-second gap to behind him, and he's got an ocean of space ahead of him. So I think that's pretty much where he's going to finish today, 17th place. Brown currently in P16, 6.1 seconds back off of Pospisil. Pospisil here, yeah, currently in P15. He's 3.4 seconds back on Duran. Duran here trying to chase down Radic for 13th place. Radic again, one of the drivers that had a stop and go 30 penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He is currently in 13th place. I don't know what has he got gap to the guys ahead. Yeah, 9.2 seconds. He's probably going to stay there. V-Spec here, like I said, does have a chance at a top 10. You can see it ahead of him here. Like I said, that is literally 10th, 11th and 12th battling here. It looks like V-Spec is going to try and make a move here on King. This is, like I said, a battle for position. And then if he can get past here, he can still potentially get himself up into the top 10 with an overtake on Mertens. Great overtake there, and he's up into P11, and he has one place to go to keep himself in the top 10. Interesting though, Cobb is pitting again, so that is big news out of the front. I don't know if that means Wazza's going to get himself maybe up into, well, he's a bit far back, so I don't know did he run out of fuel potentially there? But that's allowed Zampolini up into P7. That's another crazy stat as well, and he's now only 1.8 seconds off the back of Hymans with 6 minutes to go. So Zampolini may well finish this race in P6. Now, bearing in mind, this is a driver that obviously not only did his 2 pit stops, but got 2 stop and go 30 penalties. So he has stopped 4 times and basically had 3 tyre change pit stops, and he somehow managed to fight his way back all the way through the field up into P6. I mean, obviously Kopsch will probably have to be driver of the day, but that is a hell of a drive by Zampolini here, showing how fast of a driver he is. I said we were robbed of a potential battle at the front because him and Aresh looked like they were going to be right in it all the way through this race, but Zampolini now right up behind Hymans. Hymans does have damage on that Ferrari. Obviously, I know Hymans is about half a minute behind Rogers, so I don't think Rogers is in any under pressure from Zampolini with only 5.5 minutes to go. But yeah, great speed here by Zampolini. I don't think Hymans is even going to put up a fight. Hymans will take P7 in this race, and then Zampolini will cruise up into 6th place with that fastest lap of the race as well at the minute, as he dives past Gedman as well. Gedman getting out of the way. Zampolini now up into P6. V-Spec though right behind Mertens now. This is with what happened there? So yeah, because I know V-Spec is up in the top 10 now anyway. Who was it that crashed out here? Oh no, it was Cobb. So yeah, Cobb had to pit. So Cobb is still in the pit lane now. Is he had a fault? Is his rig broke? Okay, sorry, I'm just looking now. Yes, it looks like it was Prentice that's retired from this race. So Prentice, obviously, looks like maybe there was a dog that I think he said needed the toilet. I'm not sure what he was talking about in the chat. But yeah, so Tulloch ran out of fuel. That's why he dropped out of the race, near the front. And yeah, Prentice, who obviously was in the top 5, he had to retire from the race as well. That's why you can now see Paulson is now up into P19. Paulson is having a great race. Yeah, he's just, like I said, every driver ahead of him is just having fault after fault after fault. So, yeah, Paulson is going to be in for a great little battle today, sort of points haul today, sorry. So that is amazing. But yeah, Cobb is now back out. I'm not sure what happened to Cobb, but he's now, I don't know if he had maybe some sort of fault, but he's now down in P21. That means that V-Spec, it's just caught us the right time. This is side by side here. This is Mertens and V-Spec, so this is a battle for 9th and 10th. So King also here has a chance to get into the top 10 here. This is still a good battle. So 2 of these drivers can finish in the top 10. One of them will finish in 11th. So look at these guys. We'll just ride with King here, so you can see the 2 cars ahead. This is V-Spec on Mertens, and then King just sat in behind. This battle has been going on for some time now with 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. I think, yeah, King got caught off guard there. He's gone across the grass, mowing the lawn there at Watkins Glen. And that is him falling off the order slightly. But, yeah, V-Spec still trying to get past Mertens. Wazza now in the pit lane as well. I don't know what's happened here. These drivers all forgot to fuel their car too much. So that is, interesting, because that means that he... these drivers are miles behind. So I think Wazza will be fine. As we can see, V-Spec here. Is he going to try and dive bomb down the inside? No, he thinks better of it. V-Spec does have that top 10 spot, but I don't know what's happened to Wazza here as well. He is now in the pits also, so unless he has to change his tyres right at the end. But with 2 minutes 40 seconds to go, Wazza now down in 11th. Why is he falling down the order? I don't understand. He's still in the pit lane now, unless he hit a wall and had to retire back to the pit lane. But that has promoted King up into 10th place now as well. V-Spec is up to 9th. Mertens up to 8th place now. So... yeah, not sure what's happened to Wazza there. I don't know if Wazza can elaborate in the chat as well. But did he run out of fuel as well, maybe? Vandenham is closing the gap to Kopsch to 8.3 seconds now, but I think it's too little too late. So Kopsch, obviously, with that splash and dash at the end, has done a good job here getting that P2. One thing, I don't know if I'm going to jinx it with 1 minute 50 seconds to go as well, but I don't think we've had a single drive-through penalty for track infringements. So that means Watkins Glen must be one of the best tracks for it. There is a stop-and-go 30 penalty at the back for Kaspari. Kaspari is back out in the race now, which is interesting as well. He's been in the pit lane for some time, for 21 laps for pretty much most of the race. I presume he's just coming out for the last couple of laps to, maybe set a time. Maybe go for the fastest lap of the race, take it off of Zampolini. But V-Spec still trying to get past Mertens. This is a battle for 8th and 9th. Due to another issue with Wazza in the pit lane here. That means that Brown's up to 13th now, so Brown's having a great time as well. So again, Brown's going to finish in the top 15 for, that seems to be where he always finishes. With those finishes today, though, that may find him somewhere in the top 10 of the leaderboard. But
right, man, the leader is on the final lap.
So yeah, with 51 seconds to go, we are now on the final lap with Aresh. Kopsch is some way back, and then Vandenham as well. So we'll get to see most of these drivers at the front. But this is the main one at the minute, isn't it? This is Mertens V-Spec King. This is the main battle going on with the last few laps to go. Looks like Paulson actually. Paulson here is chasing down Gedman. This might be a legitimate overtake for Paulson. Just want to ride this one for a second. He's put right under pressure of right on the gearbox of Gedman here. Paulson here potentially can finish 17th in this race, so he's going to get a fantastic points haul today. And I think he'll probably get that move done. They're now on their last lap, so it looks like he's going to maybe dive down the inside of Gedman here. Look at that, it's fantastic driving. But just back up the front, it is Aresh in the lead. He's got a few more corners to go, so we'll just sort of see what else is going on here. V-Spec here still trying to put pressure on Mertens as they come up the hill. This is going to be his last opportunity as the race now. Timer has hit 0. V-Spec knows he has only got a few more opportunities to do this. So the BMW holds the inside line. V-Spec trying to do it as well, so he knows he goes to the outside line. I don't think he's got enough room. He's going to tuck it in here. And yeah, he's running out of corners, but Aresh here is coming around the last couple of corners now, so we'll ride with him here. Aresh, this is going to be 3 wins out of 4. He has dominated this race from start to finish. Yeah, obviously we had Zampolini that potentially could have put him under a bit of pressure, but he had 2 stop-and-go penalties, which kind of ruined that one. But Aresh is going to take his 3rd win of the season and extend his lead at the front of the championship. It's a great drive by him as he happy. He crosses the line. He is going to join us in the box after the race. It's a great win by him. His teammate for Swiss Motorsport coming around the last sector now. He has got a bit of a battle ahead of him. So I'll probably have to stay with this one for a second because that is the V-Spec battle just ahead. So this is V-Spec. Oh, Radic has been hit there as well. So Radic tried to dive down the inside of King. And he almost could have caused a bit of issues there for Kopsch. Van den Ham was only just behind it. He's just there in the background. But, yeah, Radic just tried a little dive. Oh, no, is that someone crashing in the back there? Who's that? That Mertens. And he hits Radic as well. It was a big crash at the end of the race there. Mertens, who obviously was challenging with V-Spec, is going to lose out at the last minute here. But it is Kopsch. So we're going to ride with Kopsch here now. But that was a big crash from the last couple of corners of the last lap. Zampolini finishes in 6th place here, but Kopsch will take his 2nd place of the race. Well done to him as he gets out of the way there. And then, yeah, Van den Ham here crosses the line. Looks like V-Spec is going to let Mertens take that position. So I guess there must have been some sort of issue there. Van den Ham takes 3rd. Fetzer is coming around to take 4th place. And, yeah, it looks like, yeah, King finished ahead of... I'm not sure what happened there. I think maybe V-Spec, yeah, maybe backed off and let all the other drivers through. I think, yeah, V-Spec quit. I don't know what's happened there, really. But, yeah, Fetzer is going to take 4th place here. A lot of chaos to unpack there at the end. I guess maybe V-Spec was responsible for that crash with Mertens. But Fetzer comes up to the line and he will take 4th place. Well-earned 4th place there for him. Stu Rogers now a couple of corners to go. He'll come around and take what will be 5th place here. As he comes up to the line, yeah, he's buzzing with that. Good P5 finish for Stu Rogers here. He slowly creeps up to the line. I don't think he's quite... Yeah, I think he's taking his screen time. There you go, and he crosses the line there at the end. But, yeah, I'm not sure... V-Spec, yeah, looks like V-Spec said he finished 15th in the end there. So I guess he must have let a few drivers through. But, yeah, Mertens takes 9th place. Duran somehow pops up into 8th place at the end there. So... There's a lot to unpack at the end now. I'm going to have to sort of ask people in the chat room at the end. But, yeah, that was a big crash at the end. I think, yeah, the driver of the day has to go to Kopsch, I think, yeah, for his great drive in P2. Aresh, again, shown his dominance with a, yeah, P5, sorry, P5, P1, 50 seconds ahead at the end there. I don't even know what happened at the end there. That was a crazy incident. But let's just go over here for a second, and then we're going to go into the... we're going to hop over into the comms, and then, yeah, we'll just cover... Yeah, I think we've got about 4 drivers coming into the voice chat today. I'm not sure what happened at the end there. There was a bit of a... I guess it was, yeah, V-Spec crashing into Mertens, and then, yeah, Radic was a bit of a casualty there as well. And somehow, I don't know how, but Duran has popped up in P8 out of nowhere. So that was an interesting one. And I think basically what V-Spec must have parked up on the line and let all the drivers through. But, yeah, he's ended up in 15th on the end there. I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll have to unpack that one. But yeah, we have Aresh in the chat room with us now. But before we make any mistakes like we did last time, I am going to make sure his audio is on. So we're just going to switch that over now. We have a bit of static from your end, I think, Aresh. But yeah, another win. That's 3 wins out of 4. A great drive, another dominant performance. I think that was the biggest gap to 2nd place so far. I think it was about 45 seconds in race 1. This is 50 seconds today. So, yeah, talk us through another dominant victory.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, was a great race. I think I had decent pace today once again. Qualify was quite interesting with mixed conditions. I think tire choosing the right tire was quite important, and then got the pole, could win the start, and from there I was just managing the race through the end.
Yeah, I think you kind of avoided a lot of the chaos out there. There was a lot of stuff going on. I think I don't know how much you picked up on it in regards to Zampellini, but he obviously got 2 stop and go 30 penalties back to back. So that kind of eliminated his race. He was down in 22nd. He managed to claw all the way back up to 6th place. But yeah, you seem to have avoided a lot of the chaos in that one. So did you see much, or did you get caught up in any sort of scary moments throughout that race?
No, I didn't really notice anything from that, but I also had a little error with my first pit stop. I was switching the strategy last minute in the pit entry, and I was trying to only refuel 1 liter for the first pit stop, but I messed up and had no pit strategy prepared for that, so I had go back to my first pit strategy, and my first pit strategy was with damp tire pressure, so I was running 27 psi again with the new tire, so not ideal for optimal track. And I think after like 2 or 3 laps I was pitting again for proper dry tire pressures.
Yeah, so did you race with dry tires even in the wet conditions at the start?
Correct. Yeah, I started the race with dry tires. Correct.
No. I think there may have been 3 or 4 drivers out there that had the wet tires on or whatever, because I think they when the rain stopped and it went to optimum track conditions, there was about 4 drivers that all pitted on that exact lap, which made me wonder if they were running wets. But the fact that everyone else stayed out meant that I assumed it was just everyone was on dry tires. So yeah, that was the case.
I was on overpressured dries as well.
Yes,
and it
so
looked an absolute treat.
Just obviously for anyone that's listening, we are joined now with Chris Gedman also. We were one of the...
Hello all.
Both of you were profile drivers today, so we covered obviously Aresh's season 14 profile and obviously your season 15 profile. So I think you finished P19 in that race. I think you had a race with Paulson. I don't know if Paulson got you on that last lap. I don't know if you can fill me in with that.
I finished 17th from dead last, so that's a rarity that I can finish so high in these races because I'm just here for the sheets and giggles. But Paulson quite naughtily took me out, or tried to, at the top of towards the bus stop in the last lap there, and then he himself lost it in the 3rd last corner. So window was down, finger was out, drove past. Thank you very much.
There was I said that I don't think you were caught up in it either, but there was a lot of chaos on that last lap. There was a big crash in the wall. I think Radic he crashed into 2 cars, and then I think Mertens and V-Spec got smashed into, or I think V-Spec must have crashed into Mertens because right at the finish line he stopped dead on the end of the circuit, and there was cars flying everywhere. So I imagine there'll be a lot to unpack if any of you are the admins, but or the stewards. But
yes, so I am part of the co-owners with FRL.
Yeah.
But we've got a really dedicated stewarding team and admin team set in place. So there's been some kind of massive changes in that side over the coming seasons, and this season particularly, we're actually tweaking the whole process again, so that when it hits next season, it's going to be a far safer place for all drivers to take FRL grid on their kind of shoulders. So watch this space, posts to happen, plenty of off-season races as well to fill your boots. But as always, Erich, well done for this evening. You've done absolutely fantastic as always.
Thank you very much.
What I need to ask is, what is your actual name? Come on, you need to tell us live here in the chat.
I think it's gonna remain a mystery.
Yeah, no one knows.
Ah.
It's an interesting. It's one of those mysteries. So it's like who is actually the Stig? We don't know.
If anyone knows what Eris's real name is, just DM me. I won't publicise it, but there's something in it for you. I'm just saying, just DM me. But if you want to keep your identity like the Stig, then so be it. It's quite intriguing.
Maybe he is the Stig.
I think he's as fast as the Stig.
Yeah.
Oh, we have Gerbino that's just joined us as well, who has his microphone muted.
Yeah, well, all your audio is definitely 100% coming through today. So Jabino, if he wants to give us a rundown of the T2 series, everyone can hear you today, so it's working.
Oh, perfect, lovely. Tier 2 was nice. It was a bit less eventful than Red Bull Ring. We had a very incredible race from Roberts, which won. I honestly don't know which strategy he did, but he won with some margin. Unfortunately, Glinkin had a disconnection in the last lap. I got P2. That's a bit bad to get a P2 like this. And
listen, a free spot's a free spot.
Yeah, that's a free spot, not a good free spot, because it happened to me on Sunday. And I was quite pissed off to have a disconnection on.
He said the bad word on the FRL stream.
Oh,
no swearing allowed.
Sorry.
Get to the corner. Get your trousers to the floor. Get the whip. Come on, Red Fox. Get the whip.
I don't have a sound effect board, but that would be quite funny if I did get that.
And then we had a P3 for German, which did a very good race. We had a few battles, and he just let me go on the final stint because I think he had old tires and I had new tires, so it was smart. But a good race, very fun.
Fantastic.
I don't think we had a pile up in lap 1, so I'm also very, very proud of that from the tier 2 guys.
Yeah, we had an extremely clean race as well tonight. The first 2 laps were untouched, and then I think there was maybe a wee mishap on lap 3. Am I right on that?
There was
lap 1 and 2.
There were so many crashes like throughout the race, but it was all like, not all like, it was Simon, wasn't it? Simon, there was a Resh, Simon and Zampolini, and I think Simon was trying to keep up with. I think Aresh and Zampolini got through. Simon moved to 3rd place, and I think he was trying to just maintain the gap to the front 2. I think he went wide, hit the wall, came onto the track, took Kaspari out. Obviously again it was a complete accident, and then obviously then because there was a bit of an incident, then I think another driver, I think it was Caruana maybe, he then got hit into, and then he was spinning around, and there was a nice little bit of a kerfuffle. But there's quite a few incidents, like all isolated throughout the race, but I'm
sure the steward's office will be full of them.
Yeah, but most of them will be like just. Most of the incidents today were unforced errors where drivers have just made a mistake, gone off the track, hit a barrier, and then just they would have had their brakes on, but they've slid straight back onto track, like spinning around and just taking a car out. So a lot it's unavoidable.
That's the thing about Watkins Glen. It's got such fast corners, entries, exits, and sections that the car's weight shifts a hell of a lot. And if you do lose control and hit the wall, it's the trajectory just gets the car itself, just the momentum carries it right onto the racing line most instances. Especially bus stop, sector 2, you think of that funny right-hander, the elbow, is it called? Is it the elbow?
Oh, I'm not very good with the coordinate. I just call it the left-handers and the right-handers.
The right-hander uphill in sector 3, where the car the weight shifts from one side to the other, and then you've got to be patient with your throttle. And a lot of guys overshoot it and smash the wall, and then come right back onto the racing line because it's just the way the momentum of the car. It's just one of those tracks. I love it. I love it to bits.
I'm sure with the
with the videos, you'll probably see that a lot of people say, "Oh, he came back on the track." And so, well, I don't think he did. I think he bounced onto track, and it was not completely unintentional. So, I'd imagine you can't really give, like punishments for people that have accidentally crashed. That's just
Listen, we deal with every ticket as it comes in. Each incident is looked at thoroughly. We do have rules to follow, but there's a bit of discretion involved as well.
Yeah.
But what we do is we ask for footage with the likes of HUD up so that we can see inputs, and it helps with the evaluation. So we've got, like I say, a really dedicated stewarding team, and they scrutinise and they discuss amongst themselves. One of the most active admin chats. It's probably got about 85, 90,000 messages in it over the course of the last year alone. It's crazy.
Well, they do a good effort, and it's well run so far. But just some final points from everyone before we end the broadcast for today. So Aresh, I said 3 wins out of 4. You are the championship leader. It looks like you are unstoppable. And being a German driver and the season finishing on 2 German tracks, how do you rate your chances now of seeing the season out and taking your second, as far as I'm aware, your second Taco Tuesday championship?
Yeah, I'm feeling quite confident. I really like the 2 tracks, Nürburgring GP and Nürburgring Nordschleife. I think also the Mustang suits the track quite well. So I mean, obviously we have BOP to make it more fair, more equal for the other cars, but I think the Mustang will be quite a strong car on the last 2 tracks.
Okay.
Again, I'll ask anyone if you want me to take Eresh out on any of the tracks. You can DM me. The bids start at £5. That's an open market.
And then Gabino, I think you are the Tier 2 championship leader. So again, same question with 2 tracks left. How do you like the 2 tracks, and how do you rate your chances of seeing out and becoming Tier 2 champion as well?
To be fair, I really like both tracks. I did some decent race at Nürburgring. I don't know for Nordschleife because I did a very good race on late night last season or season ago, in which I finished like P7 overall, which I was very proud of that. But then on Taco, I bottled like 2 times in the same corner at the end of the lap. So I don't know.
Ouch.
I wish to say
Good
that
luck.
it's gonna be all fine, but I don't know. I will practice a lot for the Nordschleife, to be fair.
And
The only thing I'll say is I'm probably one of the cleaner drivers, so it's always myself that takes myself out. So I can guarantee you 100% I'll probably qualify near the back, and I'll take myself out Nordschleife probably every second lap.
to be fair, I suppose there'll only be about 7 laps to that whole race, won't there?
That's fine. I'll pit 5 times.
Yeah.
We did no. Was an endurance event. So yeah, we did like 9 lap last time, but it was like 80 minutes event. So probably 7 laps should be.
Yeah, 7 laps it'll be. I'm looking forward to it, I really am. I just really, really hope it's in the dark with lashing rain and descending maybe into the morning time. So that'd be fantastic. So I'll leave that one with the guys that set the servers and the times and stuff up. That's the way I would do it as a finale, but I don't know if anyone else would do the same.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you guys for joining us again in the booth. Obviously, you better listen back to this interview because it actually is being recorded this time, which is great. And then obviously, good luck, Aresh and Gabino and Gedman in the last 2 races. We'll be back here next Tuesday for round 5 of the 6 race championship, and I think Aresh will move 1 step closer, and I suppose Gabino will move 1 step closer to becoming our season 16 Taco Tier 1 and Tier 2 champions. So good luck, everyone, and thank you for joining me in the booth.
Nice one. Thanks for that, Red Fox. Cheers for tonight. Bye, guys.
Hope to connect all
Bye-bye.
next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, yeah, so that is the end of today's broadcast, guys. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, we have 2 races left. Where is the calendar? There you go. Yes, we have Nürburgring next week on the 11th, and then we go to Nordschleife the following week for the season finale. So join us again next week. The broadcast starts at 8:15 p.m. UK time. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye for now.